Okay, thank you, everybody. How are you?
See you.
I got her. Okay. See you, everybody online. Hey, thank you everybody. Welcome. This is our January 27th full board meeting for Manhattan Community Board 1. Before we start our public session, I want to recognize and welcome our amazing and brand new Manhattan Borough President. Brand new. Welcome.
Recently minted.
Welcome, Bradley Siegel. And the
Thank you.
floor is yours.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you. Good afternoon, evening, everyone. Yes, you're welcoming me and, because you've been using this office a lot longer than I have. So I appreciate it. And we are just delighted that you have used the space. I just want to clarify that, you are always welcome here, in the Borough President's office. I know you have a long history with the BP, as we reside in your district, and very proudly so. And I want to thank Tammy and the entire board. We had a good first borough board meeting, as well as a district service cabinet meeting. I'm going to be mindful and make every attempt to attend every one of those meetings just like you do, because I think it sets an important message, which my message, and Marielle Ali, our Director of Community Affairs, who you may know recently appointed herself. We agree how important community boards are to this office and how we need to support you in every effort to do your job. And that's really what it boils down to. Look, you're volunteers, I get paid. So my job is to support you. That's the way I see it. And whether it's resources, whether it's trainings, whether it's making certain that you have space, and of course, weighing in on your behalf when you issue ULURPs and other resolutions or letters. I hope to make that a very important part of the next 4 years. So I want to thank you for that. And want to also mention that to kick off my administration, if you call it that, we're having an inaugural celebration. Obviously, I'm already in office, so that's why it's a celebration.
Of course.
It's a little, yeah, it's a formality, but coupled with that is a borough convention. It's the first that we've attempted, I think, in Manhattan, where we're gonna have a facilitated conversation with members of the community across the borough to prioritize our issues. You know, whether it's safe streets and quality of life, transit, older New Yorkers, climate, housing, of course, public education and health. All of those will be on the table, but I want to hear from you, and that's what our event on Sunday, February 22nd, from 1 to 4 p.m. at Lincoln Center is going to be about. And hopefully there'll be some fun things as well. You know, there'll be food and drink, and a chance to meet community board members across the borough, and of course to represent Lower Manhattan in that conversation. So just wanted to flag that for you, and hope I see you all there. I'm off to a couple of community board meetings tonight, as well as some other events, as you can imagine. I'm trying to do my best Gail Brewer impersonation. But I got a long way to go.
Well, if we see your image in a car going left, right, or
Yeah.
center, then you've actually mastered the Gale Brewer.
Okay.
That's how she got to be everywhere all at once.
Yeah, yes. And just to pick up on what Gail and we talked about in the borough board, we want to suggest to our community boards how we can make an effort collectively with my other borough presidents in terms of additional resources for our community boards in our respective boroughs. So that is a charge that we kind of issued at the borough board. I know you guys will be talking about it. I'll be talking to your district manager about it, and Marielle is going to head it from our team, but I'd love to get all the borough presidents on one page in terms of what you need to make your work just a little easier. That's my report. Hopefully it'll be lengthier and more substantive next time, but right now it's just to say thanks and look forward to working with you.
I know y'all probably have tons of questions, but I did, out of fairness, we're sharing him with 3 other boards tonight, which maybe sometime in 2026, we'll kind of adjust our schedule so he doesn't have to be at 4 in one night. So unusual to the way we normally do, where I normally open the floor for questions for our new borough president. I'm gonna ask that we not do that for him unless you have.
I got, take a couple, if there are, if they, you know.
I'll forego a question with a selfie.
Oh. Thank you.
I love that. Go ahead.
Rosa Chang, Gotham Park, just wanted to say thank you. I got an email from your office just last night saying that we were awarded a grant for $5,000. So thank
Fantastic.
you.
Fantastic. I'd love to take credit for all of that, but, Program Mark Levine
Yes.
most certainly gets the credit there, but I am happy to usher
It
that.
actually has your name on it.
Yes,
so
I know.
will give you both
I
thanks.
feel a little guilty and shameless. It's kind of like when a politician signs a rebate check to you. No, it's any name. It's your money, right?
Thank you.
It's your money. It's tax dollars. So we're
Appreciate it.
giving back.
Thank
So,
you.
and I will, does anybody else have any questions? Anybody online have any questions? I will say thank you. The first borough board meeting was incredibly inspiring and hopeful. All of us walked out of the room going, did he just say he'd try and help us with land use and urban planning people? Wow, that'd be super cool. So, we're completely open for any discussion and really appreciate the support. It shows from the basic root of your website, which one of the other, I can't take this credit, that was board chair from CB2. She said, look at how the website's organized. It is about the community first and foremost, and it is delightful to see. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you. And thanks to my team who's, you know, really working, Andrew and Marielle and, working really hard to make sure that, you know, we represent that in our public facing, communication.
Perfect. Zach?
And I just want to say thank you for letting us have this space.
Yeah.
It was my first ask to you.
That's
the
right.
first time I saw you.
That's right. It was.
And I don't know if other board members know it as much, but other community boards and all across the city don't have spaces where they can consistently go. And this is such an easy thing for staff, easy thing for members to do. So thank you so much. Home run right off the bat.
I'm delighted to say yes. Okay.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Okay.
So I would say that is a heck of a way to start off 2026, right? All right, so with that, let's open the public session at 6:14. Make sure that I lose the pull up. I'm kind of wondering where our secretary is. Or assistant secretary. All right, so can I get a volunteer to help draft some notes? Jason's not in yet. So, and Brendan's not here, so I'll take a volunteer from the board to take notes. We will get the transcript. So it's just about making sure you take some notes about kind of the order of who's speaking, because the transcript, as you well know, does not say and recognize each of us as individuals. Can I get a volunteer from the board? Don't let me pick one.
And you're ready to go.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. The next person who walks in the room, Santi, welcome. You have just been volunteered. Come join us right next to Zach. We're gonna get you a nice piece of paper, and you have now been voluntold to take minutes. Minutes. Because the recording records people who are speaking, you just need to really kind of say the name of who it is so we can tag it in some minutes later. All right, so let's get.
I'll get it.
There we go. Thank you, Gabby.
Secretary.
There we go. It takes a team effort some days, so there we go. All right, let me pull up the link, which I know Lucy sent me.
Thank you.
Yeah, Zach's gonna help you. Zach, you're gonna help him. Sure. Give me 1 second so I can get, I know, I'm gonna start with the first person who I know, wants to speak from the public. We're gonna recognize Martin.
Thank you so much.
Martin Sweeney from the Downtown Boathouse. Welcome.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead,
Can you
Mark.
folks can you hear me okay?
Yes, we
Great,
can.
thank you. So, yeah, my name's Martin Sweeney. I'm with the Downtown Boathouse. You folks on the board may be more familiar with Graham Burchell, my predecessor. He was a pretty regular attendee at CB1. The boathouse, we've been operating at Pier 26 in Tribeca, a free kayaking program since 1995, and we put well over 500,000 people on the water in that time. And our whole thing is free kayaking. I'm here tonight to talk about the big Sailforth 250 this summer, which, they're bringing back OpSail. There's a lot of Coast Guard security regulations that have just come out regarding that. And they've actually been very restrictive with respect to human-powered watercraft. So they're basically saying we have to shut down from July 1st to July 9th. I'm here at the community board tonight, hopefully to get some support from you folks. I know it's short notice, but we've only found out about this recently. There's a comment period for these regulations, which ends February 17th. And one of the things we're going to be asking is if we can operate our free kayaking program. We're willing to stay within the pier line. All these, between the 1st and the 9th, other recreational motorized boats are allowed out on the river and all, but they're saying human-powered boats, we can't get in the water at all. So yes, we're hoping to get the community board's support on that, and hopefully I'll be back again before the season starts to tell you folks about some of the stuff we're doing this summer. Thanks.
Thanks, Martin. I have a quick question before you go.
Sure.
When will there be any public comment on the thoughts that they're having about closing closing all the boathouses? And 2, if so, when is it and where is the deadline? Do you know?
Yes, the deadline.
Martin, we lost you for a moment. Martin?
Zach,
You're
can you
back.
hear me now? Okay, yeah. My microphones are bouncing. I don't use WebEx much. So the deadline is February 17th, Tammy, and I can send along where the submissions for comments go if you want that as well. But the deadline is February 17th. And we met with Harbor Ops Education Subcommittee yesterday with a number of other stakeholders, some other stakeholders in the park, human-powered boaters. We'll probably be submitting a group thing, but the boathouse will be submitting comments individually as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, Martin. Does anybody,
Yes.
Richard and then Desi?
Yes, Mark, could you tell us what the rationale is for the restriction? And is Graham no longer involved with the boathouse?
Yes, Graham has retired. He was our former president. I'm the president now. He's still
Congratulations.
around, but he's retired.
And the reasons for the restrictions?
It's, it's a security issue. I mean, understandably, it's going to be a massive, there's going to be over 50 military craft and like a similar number of tall ships. So, there are a lot of security concerns, but as far as a specific restriction to human powered boating, we didn't totally understand their logic. Again, it also applies to jets. We're lumped in with jet skis, but again, even if they were, nobody's going to be allowed out really except on the 4th. But, those days before and after, that's 10 days at the peak of our season, which, if I double, it's probably 6 programming days for us, not including volunteer development and group program.
All righty, Desi?
Hi, Martin. This is Desi. I support Downtown Boathouse. I love kayaking. I go every season. And I wanted to ask if you're asking for support. You're asking obviously for support from the board, but are you also asking for support from individuals? You mentioned something about public comment.
I'm not really soliciting that tonight, but I can pass along to Tammy the link,
Okay.
if people are interested in commenting.
Okay. It just seems a shame, like the hours are already so limited. It would be too bad to limit it even further.
Yeah, agreed. Somebody's got the mic open. Okay, Mark, I'm gonna mute you back down. Thank you. Justine, do you have a question on this?
Yes, I do,
I
if I
think-
could just quickly.
Yeah, it's
and my
unusual during
question
the public session, but because this is new and there's a short deadline, this is why we're adjusting that. Go ahead.
That makes sense, and that's why. So, first of all, welcome. But secondly, would you be willing, assuming there's a rational basis to it all, to not be out on the 4th itself or not operate that day? Because I'm trying to think about the safety of it. And to me, I would imagine they don't want people out on the 4th, but why leading, especially kayaks, why leading up to and after? So I'm wondering if part of it is there any negotiation possible, or have you tried that?
They weren't taking any feedback yet, but we'd certainly be open to that. And we're not even asking to be out on the river. We're willing to stay in our protected embayment because that's where our programming mostly happens. So it's a very strict, they just told us everything about it yesterday. We could ask questions and then we have to submit our comments and maybe they'll listen.
Okay. Martin, thank you. Please send as much as you can, especially if you find out if there's public locations for public comments, so we can distribute it widely throughout the community and beyond just the voting community for people who would like to. And appreciate your understanding of their need for security and saying you'll only stay in your own cove area. That's really helpful to understand when we're advocating. All right, let's move on to the next person online who would like to speak. Oops. All right, I've got the modifier electrics. Anthony Hannigan. Anthony, we will, let's just move him up because it'll certainly be here. Anthony, I'm gonna make you a panelist
Hi.
for a moment. There you go. Welcome.
Hi, how are you? So I'm here to talk about the same thing, which is the safe haven at 320 Pearl Street. The just to let you know, Department of Social Services officially updated their fair share analysis to basically include a brief couple sentences about the school. And their argument is that they are now in compliance with the court order and they are proceeding to open the safe haven as early as February. So again, DHS is doing the same tricks where they're not, they're trying to basically shove this through as fast as possible, staying underneath the radar, not talking to anybody. And so we really don't have a lot of time to oppose this. So I don't know if there's anything, Community Board One can do to really help, but it's like, reaching out to Mamdani's office. I don't know if there's a representative from the mayor's office here today. But even, like when the borough presidents, I had tried to raise my hand to ask the question, but even when people like the borough president are in the meeting, I think that we should be trying to rally every elected official we can around this. Otherwise, we're going to lose a very hard fight and a very long fight that we've been putting a lot of effort into.
Thank you, Anthony. I think the community board's in full agreement with you. And with that, your timing being perfect, we're going to close the public session and welcome our council member, Christopher Marte, as a way to open the business session at 6:27. Welcome, Chris. Come on over. Sit or stand, whatever.
Yeah, I'll stand.
There you go.
Happy New Year, everyone. It's good to see everyone. Hopefully things are going well and people aren't freezing on a daily basis here. I just want to quickly address 320 Pearl, as Tammy mentioned, and a few of the public members have mentioned that we got a letter yesterday from Commissioner Molly Park addressing that they finished their fair share analysis. My team, Max and myself, immediately contacted Chris Gonzalez, that many folks know here, who is the intergovernmental liaison to DSS, and we're gonna schedule a meeting with the new deputy mayor early next week. We were already gonna plan to meet with the deputy mayor to talk about all the safe haven and everything that's happening within the DSS network. But we made this super urgent. We said that we either have to meet at the end of this week or early next week, and they just confirmed today that they're gonna pick a slot early next week. So we'll have more information. I've been in touch with our assembly member Grace Lee, and she's on the same page as my office on this. And so after that meeting, of course, we'll reach out to the PTA, all the local stakeholders, and of course, the community board, and keep you guys updated as things progress or don't progress, or if there's opportunity to really push back. On a few other things that this community board has really worked hard on, Canal Street, first week in office this year, all the electeds signed on to my office letter asking the new mayor to really address the situation that's happening on Canal Street. And what we want is to have city agencies to actually be there and do a multi-task force approach, compared to allowing ICE to go.
You're representing the legal vendors.
Illegal vendors, but also, we all know what's been happening on Canal Street for decades, right? And I think it's only gotten a little bit worse in the past few years, and it's been placed in a huge spotlight now that ACE has not only done one, but two actions that we know of, highly publicized actions, targeting these vendors, right? The city council has worked to pass vending reform legislation. The former mayor Eric Adams vetoed them, and we're looking to override those vetoes this Thursday. But I think we have to address, with Department of Sanitation, with Department of Health, with Department of Transportation, NYPD, to figure out how we can improve the quality of life for everybody, right? The vendors, the people that live around it, the small business owners on Canal Street. And I want to take an approach similar to the approach they took at Washington Square Park, where they actually did what they consider our neighborhood hub, where they got every single agency with the DA's office and really met on a, monthly basis on progress, how to improve this situation. And now if you talk to folks on Community Board 2 or go to the 6th precinct meeting, they'll tell you that it has improved tremendously. And so we're looking for that type of investment to happen on Canal Street, especially with the whole DOT redesign of Canal Street, right? One of the biggest issues that residents have brought up was, if you're gonna change the street design and not actually take into account the other things that are happening on that, then you're really not planning yourself for a successful redesign of Canal Street. Let's get all the agencies together, let's figure this out, as a unified team, and so hopefully, we'll be able to have more information once we set up that agency meeting, and all the electeds from Congressmember Dan Bowman to the borough president to our state senator, assembly member Deborah Glick and Grace Lee all sign on to this, so hopefully we can, move forward as one, and I think it's really telling that that was the first letter that we sent out the new year, because we thought it was an extreme priority. On the council side, we have some good news. I just became chair of the subcommittee on landmarks, site deposition, resiliency, and public siting. And as we all know, it's a really important subcommittee, especially for this district. Most of my district is just a historic district, but also when you consider resiliency, as we're in the middle of a number of resiliency projects in our district, from BMCR to the northern part of Battery Park City, to hopefully future plans in the seaport and the battery. I think this is going to be a really important chairship to make sure that we actually continue to do the work, get the investment that's needed, especially now when the federal administration is pulling back from resiliency and climate change projects. We had a hearing today that was really successful, it was really long, so I won't go into the details. But I was also elected co-chair of the BLAC caucus. That's the Black Latino Asian caucus. It's the biggest caucus in the city. And so a lot has been happening for my team. And we'll give you guys updates as we have events and as things move forward. And on that note, we're hosting our third annual Black History Month event at the African Burial Ground, as we've done in partnership with Assembly Member Charles Fall and District Leader Mariama James is not here, but that'll be February 21st. We'll send out a lot more information either later this week or early next week. It's always a great event and a good time, and there's always like food and celebration afterwards. When it comes to legislation, the council is going to reintroduce all previous legislation this Thursday. And so at the end of last session was the end of any opportunity of bills moving forward. And so if your bill wasn't passed, that's to start from the beginning. And so I know we've been working closely with a lot of members of Community Board 1 on specific legislation. So we'll be reintroducing a lot of those on the 29th and the stated after that. So we'll keep you abreast on hearing schedules and how things progress, whether it's like rallies at City Hall or sign-on letters, we'll let you know. Oh, my office also sent a letter to Hudson River Trust. As we all know, Homeland Security, ICE was using Pier 40 as a garage for a lot of the vehicles that they use to arrest and abduct a lot of our neighbors. That letter as well, we had elected officials from all along the west side, from Linda Rosenthal down to Charles Fall, asking the trust to end that contract, even though it's scheduled to expire in June. We wanted them to terminate it as quickly as possible. The trust responded to us, they're looking into it, and we'll have information soon on what did they decide to do. And I think that's pretty much it for now. It's a new year, there's a lot of changes with the new administration. We are trying to schedule meetings with every single commissioner and deputy mayor, not only as it, addresses 320 Pro, but the laundry list of issues that we've been working on for years. Typically there is like this gray area, between administrations, and it's our job to make sure that we don't lose steam on things that we're working on, or administration choose to forget some of the things we've been pushing for. And one of the things that's important to this community board is the Chinatown jail. And so we sent a letter to the new administration, because we don't have a commissioner in EDC, and because there was no one from the administration in our quarterly working group that Kavanaugh hosted, asking for a pause on the construction, the start of construction, until we actually have a meeting with the new administration and hopefully with the new DDC commissioner. So, I know we've talked about a few letters, but as we get updates, of course, Tammy and the rest of the community board will know about them. And if we can get you involved in those meetings, we will. I'm happy to take any questions.
Eric, you're first.
Yeah, Chris, the residents of Fidei need your help, to get a protected crossing, at Fulton Street, on Fulton Street at Cliff. As you know, we have St. Margaret,
Yeah.
you know, you have the Southbridge, Senior Center.
Yeah.
There's a temple, a mosque, all these new residents going up. And, the community board passed a resolution in support of having the DOT evaluate putting some traffic control device, whether it be a stop sign,
Okay.
which I think for me as a layperson, I think that would make most sense instead of having, you know, traffic light on, you know, for that intersection. But, you know, I've been checking with the DOT and I've been getting the same answer. They've been studying it. If you can use your influence to have them provide an answer, because, you know, we really need it. I have video showing how treacherous it is to cross. I have video showing people dodging traffic. You have cars coming in both directions, cyclists coming in all directions. So anything you can do would be really needed.
Yeah, I will, as I said, we have a meeting with the DOT commissioner. I'll add that to the list of things that, you know, we need a response on. And I think it makes a lot of sense. That area is extremely dangerous, especially you have ambulances, school buses. There's typically, you know, police cars from the, you know, counterterrorism team on Cliff. So it is a really hectic, and highly trafficked area. So I think that makes a lot of sense.
Wilson?
Yeah, if I just add, because I live, I live right there. It's not only that you have the school bus pickup for the kids from different schools right there in front of the supermarket, and people are always crossing on Cliff over there. And also in the morning, you have trucks blocking it, so you have people going in the wrong lane of traffic in both directions. So I just add to the conditions in case you're not aware, but I imagine you probably are.
Alex, you're next.
Sure.
I just want to thank you for the extraordinary work you're doing. Congratulate you. This is tremendous. It's committee. You're so fortunate. I just want to mention in light of the imagining Canal Street or any street in your position that the first agency that should be in your laundry list of agencies would be the one you didn't mention, which is Department of Parks. I think it is critical we really start to identify where we're going to be Lower Manhattan and be much more aggressive about it as best as we can, including when we start to look at a new street plan. So just a plug for that. Thanks very much.
John Scott, pedestrian, like you mentioned last year on the list for the DOT.
Could you speak up? Sorry.
Is pedestrianization of Fidei, which you talked about last year, on the agenda for the DOT meeting?
Of course, and I spoke to, at a meeting with Jessica Lappin and heard the concerns of, you know, the Downtown Alliance, and I think my goal is to have a roundtable with every single stakeholder, figure out a way forward. So, it's definitely high on the list, and yes, Tammy, you'll be, the community board will be on that, because, you know, I think it, you know, it's a highly complex area. See a lot more parents with kids and older populations also moving to the area, and it's figuring out what works for the small businesses, what works for pedestrians, and how do we, you know, make this a model for the rest of the city. So I'm definitely like trying to organize that and make it happen.
I wanted to actually ask, because one of the things that you were asking for last year that we supported all along has been the study,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
was make way for Lower Manhattan. It wasn't necessarily pedestrian, everything in Lower Manhattan or Fidei. It was a critical look and evaluation of opportunities to make it multimodal transportation, since we've not had actually an east to west, south of Canal look at transportation across Lower Manhattan, I think since 1997 or 94.
Yeah.
So having something that takes a look not only at Fidei as one neighborhood, but what we don't want is what gets in many places where if you close the street here, it makes it work, all the trucks go on the left or on the right. And where are we putting micro hubs and where are we putting extra bike lanes and new bike lanes and having a real look at the connectivity with the with the business community and the biking community and the people who like to walk. And everybody is really, what we were promised with the World Trade Center campus did not happen. We were promised connectivity east to west across Fulton, across many streets. Vesey was closed. Instead, we've actually lost more than we've gained in connectivity. So having a look at how we can connect bicycles east and west, north and south, micro transit hubs, regular commercial traffic, and pedestrians, shared streets, not shared streets, but having a study that actually makes suggestions that looks at everything would be incredible.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we're starting to see those issues now where, they want to create a micro mobility site for Amazon in the Seaport right next to the Fulton Stall Market. And the Fulton Stall Market, as well as, the Seaport Entertainment Group have opposed it, and now DOT is scrambling to find an alternative site instead of having a comprehensive look of where we can place it all throughout the neighborhood and be really strategic instead of having this cat and mouse chase that we constantly have with DOT. And on that, I wanted to mention a few other committees that I'm on. I'm on the Finance Committee, the City Council, Committee on Aging, Committee on Public Housing, Committee on Transportation, Committee on Parks. And so I'll be able to advocate for a lot of the issues folks have been bringing up.
Will we ever see you again?
We'll be seeing Max and all. Does anybody else online have any questions for Chris? I know you probably have to hit CB3, so I really appreciate you coming and thank you for starting your evening with us. Congratulations on all your new appointments. We're super excited for the years to come.
That's your question. Oh, there's a question.
Oh. Nope.
Oh, no.
I just see clapping.
All right, no, okay.
I just see clapping. I'm good.
All right, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, so with that, we have apologies for the downgrade. We have elected reps in the room, so we're gonna start with adoption of our 2025 minutes and then move into the representatives elected, who all get 4 minutes each. So, do I hear a motion for the minute for December 2025?
Oh, question. Motion.
Second. Fantastic. This is a roll call for attendance. Now, I will admit something, so don't worry about how many people are in the room tonight. Because of the state of emergency issued by the state, quorum is had no matter what. Even though quorum is normally only based by the bodies in the room, those with qualified disability online, right? And then everybody else gets to count if we've reached it. Tonight, everybody counts no matter where you are in the world. So I appreciate you guys showing up. I appreciate you being, for the most part, on time and here for the borough president, and take it away.
On the names.
I can. I'll call names. I'm not already. All right, so let me find the link. So otherwise, let's see the yellow page. All right, Amoruso. Arden. Blank.
Amoruso is yes.
Thank you. Brown Kennedy.
Okay. How do I unmute? Do I hit *6 again?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll Brown Kennedy. Cameron.
Cameron, yes.
Cassell.
Cassell, yes.
Chang.
Jen, yes.
Chapman.
Chapman, yes.
Charkoudian.
Yes.
Cole. Coleman.
Cole, yes.
Corman.
Yes, Corman, yes.
Kucha.
Lucia, yes.
Curtis,
yes.
Dominic. Flores,
Flores, yes.
Friedman,
Friedman, yes.
Froman,
Froman, yes.
Galloway,
Galloway, yes.
Goldstein. Goodkind. I saw her. Goodkind.
She's muted.
Good kind, yes.
Thank you. Hernandez. James. Joyce. Kay.
Okay, yes.
Cannell.
Just walked in there.
It's the meeting minutes from December.
Yes.
Capel.
Yeah.
Lerner. I know you're there, Lerner.
He's saying yes.
Lerner, yes.
Thank you, Lewinson. Excuse me. Lyon.
Lyon, yes.
Meltzer, yes. Minsley.
Minsley, yes.
Moore.
Or yes.
Pandya.
Ushma, yes.
Pushakori. Rios.
Yes.
Robinson.
Robinson, yes.
Rossi, yes.
Okay. John Scott. Sean Scott.
Sean Scott, no.
Jared. Okay. Jared Shear.
Like, absolutely not.
Laura Starr.
Star, yes.
Jimmy Sung. Vera Sung.
Yes.
Brendan Thompson.
Yes.
Townley. You.
Eric, you, yes.
Zelter.
Zelter, yes.
Goldstein.
He's saying yes.
I'll take that as a yes. All right, so I'm going back through once more just to make sure I did not miss you. Arden. Brown Kennedy. Coleman. Dimick. Joyce. Lewinson. John Scott. Jared Shear. Jimmy Sung. Robert Townley. Okay, ready to rock and roll. Thank you, everybody.
Zod says yes.
What?
And General Zod.
General Zod says that's right. We have a new elected rep with us tonight, so we're gonna start off the top with a representative from the governor's office. Jordan, welcome. We don't often get somebody here from the governor's office, so we're delighted to see you. Welcome, introduce yourself, please, and the floor is yours. You have 4 minutes.
Thank you very much. I was told I had 2, so I gotta talk really slowly to fill in 2 extra.
No, you can. You can yield your time.
First, hello, everyone. I'm Jordan Feiner. I am our Manhattan Regional Representative for Governor Kathy Hochul, excuse me. It's been a long time since I presented at a community board, but it's nice to start with number 1. Thank you, Zach, for asking me to stop by. I know time is limited, blah, 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 but I want to speak on some of the major highlights from the governor's 2026 State of the State address, which she gave earlier this month up in Albany. One of the major agenda items that the governor is putting forward is for New York to be on the pathway to achieving universal affordable childcare. And we're going to be doing this with a $1.7 billion investment to guarantee pre-K and enabling New York City to launch NYC 2Care and also enhance 3K. So yes, I will be available to babysit. That was a joke. Another way we're focused on affordability is by protecting renters and rent stabilized housing. The way we're going to be doing this is by expanding rent freeze programs for seniors and the disabled, more commonly known as SCREE and DREE. I know this is something that your state senator is very big on, so I want to shout out Brian Kavanaugh for that as well. Additionally, what we're going to be doing is enhancing penalties for landlords that are harassing tenants. I know that's a huge issue from my time working for a council member a little more north. The governor is also focused on safety for New Yorkers. She's supporting legislation to ensure that 3D printers are enabled with tech to prevent the printing of firearms. That's something I know the borough president was really big on in his time in the state senate. So we're focused really much on sort of cracking down on all that. And I have more AI stuff later as well, more tech stuff. The other thing that we're dealing with right now is sort of existential threats from the federal government, be that, you know, funding for certain things or anything like that. But one of the really big ones is obviously with the horrific scenes that we are seeing coming out of Minnesota right now. The governor's focused on equipping New Yorkers with tools to fight against unchecked aggression from ICE. What does that mean? It means establishing a right for New Yorkers to sue federal officers for constitutional violations. So you're able to sue specific officers for trampling on whatever rights that they have trampled on, and also proposing legislation to protect sensitive locations such as houses of worship, hospitals, and schools from civil immigration enforcement without a warrant signed by a judge. You know, the governor has been very vocal. If they want to come in and take dangerous criminals or do things like that, we will work with them on that. We're not finding dangerous criminals, 5-year-olds at school, people in houses of worship, people in hospitals where they are working. We want to make sure that we are not allowing ICE officers to go in there unchecked without getting a warrant signed by a judge. I also want to quickly highlight some other investments that we're making. We're helping to protect children online by restricting the use of AI chatbots on social media for kids. We're also helping to crack down on dangerous and misleading uses of AI by requiring AI-generated content to include labeling that specifies the origins of its creation and restricting non-consensual deepfakes leading up to elections. So trying to crack down on some of the stuff that can be purposely confusing or harmful to kids' mental health, really focusing on, you know, some of these other threats that we are seeing. I could go on more about our investments toward building New York's infrastructure in housing, transportation, parks, cutting red tape, things like that, as well as our efforts to make New York a leader in industries of the future and a greener, cleaner, and more open state for all. But I don't want to monopolize your meeting. I'm happy to yield some time. There are more details on all of these platforms, including a plethora of stuff that I did not get to here. They can all be found on the governor's website. I've also emailed Zach a larger listing of press releases that we put out immediately after the state of the state that go a little more in detail about specific proposals. Zach, I welcome you to share that with the board. Share my email on that as well if people would like to get in touch with me. And with that, that's sort of what I have for sort of the state of the state 2026 priorities. Happy to take any questions. Thank you for having me.
Two things, can you state the, sorry, I'm secretary, can you state the URL address for the governor's website, and then also can you verbalize what your contact information is?
Or a second to pull up the exact email address. It's www.governor.ny.gov. And then my email address, you can reach me, it's my first name, Jordan, Jordan, dot last name, Feiner, F as in Frank, EI, N as in Nancy, ER, at exec.ny.gov. Yes.
Hold on. We're gonna go in order, so everybody's hands up. Joel, I'll give you first because you shouted, then Rosa.
What is the governor's latest position on raising taxes to cover the mayor's new initiatives? Is she going to raise taxes?
So I don't work on the specific legislation. I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't have a specific answer to that question.
But she has on record saying she won't, and then it sounds like she's leaning to do it to cover the expenses of the trial cap.
I have not had conversations with her specifically about this. I don't want to give you incorrect information as to where she is leaning more recently. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer.
But Joel, let him get back to us with the position.
Yeah, I can check in and see what I can find out on the position and get back to you on that, 100%.
Rosa,
Hey,
and then
Jordan.
Bushman.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Question, so you said that you could tell us a little bit more about transportation, parks. I would love to learn a lot more, and resiliency as well.
Totally. I don't have the specific details in front of me right now, but I can certainly get more information to Zach. I can also get in touch with you specifically. We can have an offline conversation and sort of speak a little bit more on it.
Okay, fantastic. Ushma, you're next.
Thank you.
I just want to say I really appreciate Governor Hochul's school phone ban, bell to bell. I just wanted to and I appreciate the focus on AI and harms to children and social media. I'd love it if you could pass on to the team that works on ed tech is also to think about the standards, how technology is being used in educational settings and how ChatGPT and AI and all that is also being used. I think it's a real big harm to kids. And I just think that's also an area of focus. COVID brought technology in really quickly into the classrooms, and I don't think in a very thoughtful way. So I
Yeah.
just want to flag that. Thank you.
Thank you for the flag. Thank you for your words on bell-to-bell cell phones in schools ban as well. I hope everyone knows who Frankie Focus is. We all love him. And definitely with technology in the classrooms, COVID very much sort of threw that in there, and now we're sort of dealing with the ramifications. AI for students and things like that that negatively affect mental health, especially technology, is a big thing, but I can flag this as well, more specifically for our education.
Sorry, I just wanted to put a defining nuance on that. Yes, it is about mental health, but kids are using technology and AI to do their work, and they're not getting the critical thinking skills that they will need as they enter the workforce.
100%. You shouldn't be writing an essay on AI. It should be coming from the student.
Absolutely. Alrighty, does anybody else have any questions for Jordan? Thank you very much, Jordan, and hopefully we'll see you in February.
We'll see.
Carlos is joining us online from Representative Goldman's office. Carlos, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Can you?
Yep.
Great to be here, all. This month's been a really busy, hectic month for us. The congressman recent on the immigration and oversight, we responded to DSS disinformation regarding the detention in New York City school staffer who's legally in the country under TPS.
Carlos, I apologize
Yes.
for interrupting. Can you lower the volume a little bit? It's you're echoey on our end.
Oh, sorry. Might have to speak a little lower. Is that better?
Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. We've coordinated with legal advocates here habeas.
His computer
I'm
volume.
sorry.
I'm gonna give him an instruction.
Carlos, can you lower your computer volume just a little? Because it's coming back through your speakers back into us. It's making the mess.
Oh, just give me. Sorry. I'm just gonna speak. I'm on my end, so I don't have a should be. I'll speak lower. So, as I was saying, we were legal kits to secure the habeas petition, prevent the.
We're still getting echo and me, so we can't quite understand.
It's hard to understand you. It's echo.
Can we go to the next person and then I'll fix my audio?
Sure, absolutely. Dan Byers from Senator Kavanaugh's office. Welcome.
Hey, everybody, how's it going? Dan with Senator Kavanaugh's office, as you know. I wanted to plug, we're having a community town hall with Assembly Member Grace Lee on February 5th from 6 to 7:30 at PS 20, 166 Essex Street. I have flyers over there in Chinese, Spanish, and English. Please do come out and ask questions, have a conversation with us. I'm really excited about. So if you want a digital flyer, Zach, I'll send you the flyers too, or you should have them. And give to the board members. As Jordan alluded to earlier, we're really excited about the governor's announcement that she would be working to raise the income eligibility for SCREE and DREE to $75,000. That's something that our office has been trying to do for a really long time. We have a package of bills around SCREE and DREE that we're going to be trying to get through again. So that was great news. We really appreciate the collaboration. And I guess I'll just leave it there since you have a big meeting. Just says that you have any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Senator Kavanaugh? Seeing none in the room, seeing none online, off we go. Carlos, you ready yet, you think?
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
All right, excellent. So sorry about that. So as I was saying, let me just start again. So this month, it's been immigration and oversight heavy for us. We responded forcefully to DHS misinformation regarding the detention of a New York City council staffer who was lawfully in the country under temporary protected status. We coordinated with legal advocates to secure the habeas petition preventing the staffer's removal from the state. The congressman also won a federal lawsuit restoring Congress's right to conduct unannounced inspections of immigration detention facilities, and subsequently we conducted the first oversight on an ICE facility that at 26 bed that's being used to detain migrants, where the congressman was able to observe inhumane conditions for nonviolent detainees, including lack of beds, showers, and sanitation. And he has committed to continuing the oversight to ensure accountability and humane treatment. We've also introduced legislation to repeal punitive fees imposed on unaccompanied children seeking refuge. Congressman led legislation to prevent ICE arrests at immigration courts when individuals are appearing for lawful proceedings. And we're emphasizing due process and basic fairness in immigration enforcement. On another matter, the congressman condemned the elimination of federal funding for public broadcasting. He warned that cuts threaten local media, emergency communications, and educational programming. And he spoke out against unilateral military actions abroad without congressional authorization, reinforcing constitutional checks and balances. On the climate and energy fronts, he strongly opposed the federal pause on offshore wind projects, including the Empire Wind 1. We warned the pause of jeopardizing thousands of jobs in clean energy productions and have demanded transparency in briefings on the administration's claimed national security justifications. On economy and public safety, we've introduced legislation to curb price gouging at public subsidized sports venues, proposed a tax the ultra wealthy borrowing to fund universal pre-K, childcare, and working family priorities, and advanced legislation to give communities a voice in regulating helicopter tourism, addressing noise and safety concerns primarily on Lower Manhattan. That'll be all. If there's any questions.
Justine, you're first. And
Thank you so much.
Cody, yeah.
Okay,
Cody,
thank you
then-
so much. Sorry. Appreciate the report. Appreciate what Dan Goldman is doing for us. What can we do ourselves as either as a community board or as individuals to help?
So right now, I think one of the biggest issues that we're having when it comes to the immigration front is that a lot of people, they are not aware of the rights that they have. They're not aware, they're going in to immigration court without any counsel. Our office is, we're actually utilizing the office as a triage. We're working with a lot of immigration lawyers and court advocates to educate and also connect people to resources. We've created a Know Your Rights one pager that has like all the Know Your Rights when you're in immigration court, and on the back it has this is very important, it has a ICE privacy release form, which if you're detained by ICE, they will not give out any information regarding your status, your detention, any of that, unless someone has that form. So we're making it as easy as possible for people to have all this information in one place, and also have that legal documentation that gives us authority to find out where their whereabouts, and also it helps us to be able to create the habeas corpus to stop their removal from the state. So I can share that the Know Your Rights with the board, and then you guys can just disseminate that to as many people as possible, people on this board and just anyone. We've been sharing it with faith groups, legal clinics, all of that. So I think that would be a huge step in the right direction. And also, if you know anyone who's interested in volunteering in court watching, or anyone who has legal background, feel free to contact me, and then I can connect you to the orgs that we're working with.
Thank you so much.
Cody?
Hi.
Hi, Cody.
I have a question about the, next week, the federal funding for the Gateway project is set to expire. which will bring construction to a halt. I know there's been some talk of bringing a lawsuit against the Trump administration because of holding back the funding. I just wondered where the congressman stood on this as far as what he's doing with the New York delegation to either prevent this from happening. You know, it's obviously one of the most important infrastructure projects to our economy and our future. I was just wondering what the congressman's stance was, or what he was doing to try and, make sure this doesn't happen.
I'm sorry, Cody, can you repeat which project it is that's being paused?
He's talking about, Cody is asking about the Gateway project. It was announced that federal funding is stopped for the Gateway project, and without a further push, the project, which is critical to transit in and out of Manhattan and expansion between New York City and New York State and New Jersey, the Gateway project will be fully halted at the end of next week.
When was
That
this announced?
Today, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I do not have an answer for that right now, but let me check with my team. I'm going to stay on. If I have an update before I get off the call, I'll update the chat. And if not, I'll get back to you directly, Cody.
Thank you.
That would be great. Mitch?
Thank you.
Hi, Carlos, this is Mitch Froman, and I thanked you privately. I wanted to go on record so that everybody knows that the things that you just said about the ICE privacy release form, you're doing amazing work and helping protect a lot of people, my family included. So thank you so much to you and the rest of your staff.
Thank you, Mitch.
Alice has the last comment.
Right to tag, Mitch, and Carlos, could you just give us your, maybe this was stated, and Tammy, forgive me, but just for the public, your full name and your position at Goldman's office? Sorry.
Yeah, Carlos Rondon. I'm the Director of Community and External Affairs for Congressman Goldman's office.
Perfect, thank you. It was so nice to meet you. I just wanted to highlight that if you would be good enough to send us that one-page summary that you have for the immigration sort of assistance.
Yeah, we'll do.
That would, and if you could send it to our district manager, and then maybe Zach could then distribute it among all of us, and then we could forward it.
And in all
posted online?
We could post it online in all
Yes,
transparency.
yeah, you can post it online. It
Long
has
words.
our official letterhead and all of that. It's an official document that migrants can take into court with them. That's one of the issues that they're running into, is that they're not being allowed to bring anything into court if it's not like an official document. So that's one of the ways we got around that. So it's an official document.
Thank you.
We also invited Carlos and or John to come to either a meeting if they can, to send us the information first, as Carlos said he would, and then potentially come and have a discussion to educate the public a little bit more widely, so it could be online and we can help people from that way. So we'll let you know. All right, thanks, Carlos. Moving on.
Thank you.
From our assembly team. I think Lane is here. Lane?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I think my
I almost
camera
gave
is.
away
Oh,
your-
okay.
Almost gave
No,
away your-
don't here. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. Sorry, I can't be there in person. I just have a few updates from Assemblymember Glick. So just to echo Dan, and Jordan, we're very heartened by Governor Hochul's, announcement of raising the income cap on Screedry. That's a bill that Assemblymember Glick has with Senator Kavanaugh. And so, she was incredibly encouraged, raising the income cap from 50,000 to 75,000. And the bill has been amended to include the higher number. And then just another quick thing, as chair of, environmental conservation within the assembly, Assemblymember Glick is holding a joint legislative budget hearing on Wednesday, January 28th. So that's tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. So these hearings are intended to provide legislative committees with public input from agencies, organizations, and certain individuals. So all budget hearings will be live streamed and available to watch if you're curious about, budget priorities within that committee. But yeah, thanks everyone. Sorry I can't be there in person, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Do you have a link you can share to those budget hearings, or that you could communicate?
Can you give a detailed link to the budget, to the hearings?
Absolutely, I will send that over, maybe to Zach, is that okay?
That's perfect, and then he can share that. That'd be wonderful. Thank you. All right, thank you very much, from Assemblymember Lee Havens here.
Yes.
Sorry, you almost got booted there for a second for late, sorry.
Okay, so hello everyone, happy New Year and happy early Lunar New Year. Just a couple updates here, so.
Sorry, can you state your name and what office you're from?
Yes, of course, my name is Hayden Ryan, I serve as Director of Special Projects for Assemblymember Grace Lee. All right, so we're back in Albany, of course, but we're still doing some work city side. So recently we stood in solidarity with the New York nurses to advocate on their behalf and support them. We're really glad that talks are progressing. We hope a resolution is found soon. Similarly is similarly very troubled by what we're seeing in Minnesota. And so she has been calling for the MELT Act, Radar Act, and New York for All, which are just common sense guardrails for accountability and protecting the community. Finally, if you live in a central business district and make under 60K, $60,000, you are eligible for a refundable tax credit for congestion pricing tolls that you paid this year. I can send a link as well. As Dan mentioned, we're co-hosting a town hall with Senator Brian Kavanaugh. We're very excited by that. As Dan mentioned, he has kindly provided some flyers, so please sign up for that. We have a really great RSVP list so far, but we have some extra room, so please be sure to sign up or share with friends and family. And then just two quick legislative updates. So we were really heartened to see Governor Hochul include two of Emily's legislative priorities in the state, including updating SNAP cards to chip technology, which Emily has been advocating for a while, so we're really excited for that development. And then Hochul also, the governor, committed to protecting drinking water by adding regulation to keep landfills from spilling these PFAS, these forever chemicals, into our drinking water. So we're really excited by that, especially in this difficult time of the federal administration restricting some of these environmental regulation. And then finally, the New York NHPI Education Equity Act was signed by Governor Hochul. And these were passed by a similar release, so we're really excited to see that. Also, one of our bills, a Board of Elections bill, was also signed into law by the governor, so that was very exciting. Be happy to explain a little bit more about that if need be, but otherwise happy to take questions.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Hayden? Okay. Seeing no hands in the room, looking online, seeing none online. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
We have two left to go. We have from the D, we're gonna go alternating. Sorry, Ariel, you're gonna be our wind-up tonight. Next, we'll do Peter from the District Attorney's Office. I know you shared a report, but did you want to speak as well?
Yeah. Yes, good evening, everybody. Peter Say, Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Just share a few prosecution updates with everybody. Daniel Hayden was sentenced to 24 years to life in state prison for driving while intoxicated and crashing into a crowd of people celebrating the 4th of July holiday. On November 3rd, the judge convicted Hayden and he was subsequently sentenced. Next, we have an indictment of Julio Cachago for killing 76-year-old Yang Lee in a fatal hit and run in the Lower East Side, December 2025. Cachago is charged in New York State Supreme Court indictment of one count of leaving the scene of an incident without reporting and one count of criminally negligent homicide. Our office also wants to applaud Governor Hochul for signing the Support Act, which aims to reduce recidivism by creating a mechanism for the first time to ensure oversight and accountability for individuals involved in the criminal justice system who are released from psychiatric care. Basically, this closes a loophole for defendants found unfit to stand trial in misdemeanor charges. And finally, thank you, Lucy, for uploading our documents for our summer high school internship program and resume workshop. Those are my updates. Open to any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for District Attorney's Office? Seeing none in the room, seeing no hands online, thank you very much, Peter. Thank you for always joining us. We appreciate your due diligence and moving along for our elected. Last one is Ariel from our Public Advocate's Office. Welcome and take us home, sir.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Ariel. I'm a Senior Policy and Budget Associate from Public Advocate, just downstairs. Happy New Year. It's a new term, a new era for New York City. Public Advocate Williams was sworn in alongside Mayors Ron Mamdani and Comptroller Mark Levine. On a personal note, if you haven't seen the Public Advocate's inaugural speech, it was really awesome. Highly recommend.
It was great.
Yeah, right. Last week, the Public Advocate released the annual Worst Landlord Watch List for 2025. That's online at landlordwatchlist.com. It's the of 100 landlords with the most still open HPV. There is some with a lot of them. So maybe one of you live in those buildings. It's a good way to organize and try to get those things fixed. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. It's heat season. We're going into what I think is the coldest week in 8 years in New York, is what I heard. So as a reminder, indoor temperatures have to be at least 68 degrees during the day and 62 degrees at night. Please, if your building or the buildings of people you know are not those temperatures, call 311. The city can get that fixed, hopefully quickly. You can sign up for our biweekly newsletter at bit.ly/advocate newsletter. Some policy and legislative updates. At the final meeting of last term, the city council voted to pass 2 of the public advocates bills. The first one is the catch basin bill, which requires the Department of Environmental Protection to unclog catch basins within 8 days of an inspection or complaint. And it requires them to report catch basin clearance data each year. This will hopefully help us prevent floods before they happen. That was the first bill I worked on at Public Advocates. So excited about it. The second bill, Intro 408A, creates a division of street vendor assistance within the Small Business Services Department. That unit will provide training to all food vendors and general vendors regarding entrepreneurship and compliance with city laws. You might have heard that bill was vetoed by Eric Adams on his way out. It seems like that will be overturned on Thursday. We also released a review of the street vending industry called Pushing Forward: Legislative Reforms to Fix NYC's Street Vending System, which documents the barriers vendors face and provides recommendations on how to support the city's smallest businesses. You can find that at advocate.nyc.gov/reports. And lastly, although the federal government shutdown has ended, we know many New Yorkers are still facing serious food insecurity. Food resources are available online at finder.nyc.gov/foodhelp. Happy to share that link with anyone. And you can find all of our events at nycpublicadvocate.eventbrite.com. Thank you very much.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? I do. Can you talk about Thursdays? I saw it was on the agenda, pieces to overturn what Adams. Can you explain exactly what that was and how that works?
Yeah, so Mayor Adams on his way out vetoed 20 city council bills, almost everything that the city council passed in their last session of the year. Or last stated meeting is the meeting when city council members vote. 17 of those bills are likely to be overridden by the city council. The only ones that are not, I believe, are the Community Opportunity to Purchase Act, a bill that would require the NYPD to provide the Civilian Complaint Review Board with body camera footage, and a bill that would require EPD to increase the number of 2- and 3-bedrooms in city publicly funded new housing construction. Other bills related to affordability of housing did will be overridden. The vetoes of them will be overridden. Yes, did that answer?
It does.
Yeah, you can find a full list of what will be voted on at registrar.council.nyc.gov.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to send those up to someone.
Okay, awesome. Anybody have any questions? Thank you both very much, Ariel, and thank you. We do know that you're here every month, so we appreciate it. All right, treasurer's report. Oh. I'm sorry, Andrew, I figured the borough president was here and you didn't need to, but go for it.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
Introduce yourself.
Andrew Chang from the Manhattan Borough President's Office. I just want to mention one thing that the Borough President forgot to mention, community board applications. They went live a week ago. I have emailed all the community board 1 members who need to reapply for this current year. So check your email if you didn't get my email. Some of y'all have already reapplied, great. Kudos, brownie points to y'all. And yeah, if you know anybody who wants to join the community board, term limits are coming soon, so please encourage your neighbors, friends, frenemies to join the community board. And it's on the website, manhattanbc.nyc.gov. That's it.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Andrew as long as he's sitting here? What is up?
When are term limits and also how many spots are available on this community board? Go.
There's 3 spots vacant.
Oh, hi, I know that, what? What is the question?
When are term limits and when,
Okay,
and how many
so-
spots are there on our?
All right, so here's the key.
Yeah.
If you reapplied in 2025, last year.
Yeah.
And you had been appointed as of 2019.
Yeah.
Your term ends in 27. And I read at exec last night, we have 15 board members whose terms expire in 27, 9 of which are in leadership across 8 committees. So I'll review that in my chair report. If you are reapplying this year.
Yeah.
And you have been appointed any point from 2020 forward.
Yeah.
Your expiration is not before 2030.
It's weird.
If you reappointed in 2020, you were given 5 rounds to stay on the community board versus in 2019, you were given 4 rounds, which is how that works. And every point from that point forward, so from 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, you are 4 rounds of appointments. Which means you may be on a community board for 8 years, you can take a 1-year gap and come back.
I'm confused, but.
I'm happy to sit with you and go through it.
You can email me, I can tell you when you're
I just
final year.
submitted, yeah.
And we have 2 vacant spots as of now for this community board, at least 2.
Possibly more.
Are those spots able to be filled, like, on the fly, or?
Well, I can answer that probably better than Andrew, because I asked, we had a vacancy that the former borough president appointed at the end of last year, to fill one of the vacancies to be filled on the fly. We haven't heard from that person ever. By calls and emails has not been responsive, so I suspect that we'll have one more position available. And then, we have some people who have already indicated to me that they'll be, pursuing other opportunities.
As you're gonna, on the 1-year gap year, are you eligible to be a public member or you have to be off completely everything?
You'll be a public member if the board chair decides to have you as a public member.
Okay. Well, that'll count as the gap year, correct?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Andrew, any other questions? Sorry, I did the deep dive on the years and everything with Mark at the end of last year, and I told Mariel that I do. All right, awesome. So with that note, thank you very much, Andrew. Mariama for the treasurer. Oh, Carlos. Does he?
In the chat.
By chat. Carlos, regarding the Gateway Project cruise, Senator Schumer is leading a New York, New Jersey delegation and urging President Trump to immediately release the funds. Congressman Goldman has signed on, and the delegation is actively working to secure Republican support as we speak to make the request bipartisan. Not only that, Zach also circulated a comment from, a statement from the governor today. So, yeah. Crazy. Okay. Mariama, you ready to do the treasurer's report, please?
I'm in my car. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm here. I'm trying to be on camera, but I'm driving. The exciting thing about this quarter's treasurer report is that we have extra money that we generated from street fairs, as well as that little pot of money that we get every year and we try to prevent from expiring in June. So we have a few things that we need to, or we've been discussing doing in June, a couple that I can share and some that I'm not at liberty to yet. One of which is community board trainings. Tammy and I met with the woman who gave us a training back in 2020, and we're looking to do another one of those or another set of those trainings in May, at least one evening of a couple hours. That's one thing. We are also we have also already taken on George James to assist the subcommittee, the Affordable Housing Subcommittee to Quality of Life, and getting us some data on vacancy rates and things that'll be helpful in determining where the most need is and what we have already in terms of assets sitting around unused. I think that's probably all I'm able to mention now, but there are other things and we are committed to spending the money before June.
Anybody have any questions for our treasurer?
Coming.
Okay.
Is this inclusive?
Thanks.
Slightly board party?
No, well, the board party.
Is every month.
Yeah. We do need to do a community board event. We used to do them every December. I always got to be the fun one planning with Francis and Susan and Pat. And I very flatly said that I wasn't gonna do it. And we haven't had one since. I know Gabby's been busy planning another event. She had been a volunteer. So I'm putting it back to Francis again. And I'm telling everybody it's on one of my things. We wanna have a get together. Somebody's gotta plan it. Where is it?
What time of the year are we looking?
We always did it either in Q1 because it's the least expensive and it's where most restaurants really need support. So we always did Q1.
Does it need to be an interior space?
I'm not saying on outside.
If
it's cold, yeah.
No, I guess I'm wondering, like, if we were to meet a warmer time, would we consider just, we get order food and.
The key in the winter that makes it more valuable for the community board is we've done it as like a potluck before, we've done it as a family event before where you could bring your spouses, we've done it as a pay for board only. But it tends to be in a time, January, February, March, or when less team sports, there's less, for people with kids, they're less running around. For people who are older, being indoors is a lot better. So it's always been Q1 for all the reasons that Q1 is usually not as busy in terms of something every single solitary weekend for most people. And not around the clock. Keep thinking, I like where you're going.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking we could do like a thing at Putnam Park, just order some food. We've got rain cover. Raining, but otherwise, as long as the temperature is good, kids can just run around and do stuff. And it's open to everybody in town.
Talk with Pat and Francis. They're the two who are left on the planning committee. All right.
Cause I would volunteer to do it with Francis and Pat and Rosa, but I don't know if I want to go outside in March.
There you go. All right, next slide. Justine. All right, Zach, you're up.
Okay, so, budget dates got changed a little bit. The last admin made some adjustments to, when new mayors come in, give them a little more time. It's sort of been done, but now it's been done in the past without legislation, but now they just legislated it to be more formal. So the mayoral budget is now released February 17th, which is pushed back from January. IDO comes out in March 1st, and then the board is supposed to submit a statement on the preliminary budget now on March 15th. Not all boards do this. This board does it some of the time, not all of the time. And it's a letter in response, and it's to see how the budget has reflected the district needs request from the board. So we'll see the budget on the 17th. I will take a look at it. I hope everyone else can take a look at it to then help build out that letter that is due now March 15th. And then all other budget items are pushed back. The borough board submits on the 25th. Borough president submits 25th. Next slide. Budget hearings, the 25th. And then May 1st, mayor releases the exec budget. And May 13th, borough president submits again to that, and then city council hearings on the exec budget. And then June 5th for city council to adopt. And that's it, yeah. And the deadline is the 30th. Okay, so those are the new budget dates for just this year. And they'll probably do legislation next time there's a new mayor, the outgoing mayor will do it again. This is an event, this is EDC workshop for the battery tie-ins. And it is February 2nd. From 9 to 11. This is going to be RSVP only. It's in their office. So please RSVP to Diana, or you can send it to me and I'll send it to Diana. But you do need an RSVP for this because they have to put you on the security list for the building. So all board members can come. If you know somebody who has an interest in this project who's not on the board, you can have them RSVP as well. They're not going to be turning people away as long as they RSVP.
Is there anywhere this can be, where will this live when not here tonight on the screen?
We're going to circulate it. We're going to have to do a targeted email for up and coming events because this is huge. This is really important and we need to drive as much engagement as we can. So socials, the largest email list, and asking everybody who's here if you can share it with your tenants association, your condo boards, your business relations. It's a big gig. And we need to have a lot of people provide feedback.
Yeah, so I'll, as soon as I end my talk, I will circulate this, but again, I want to stress you have to RSVP, so anybody you share it with, make sure they RSVP to Diana or her emails at the bottom then too.
I love it. There were rings.
Okay, next slide. Okay, big news. CB1 website finally getting launched tomorrow. So you'll see the new look. OTI is finally getting to launching it. Been a little bit of a long road, but we are there. This will be the new look. As a reminder. I just want to ask for your patience because it's going to be brand new for everybody. You're going to have to find everything that you're used to finding in a different way. just try it a few times before you, maybe like give it a month
Or we call you.
before you voice your concerns with the layouts, you know, just get used to it a little bit, try to get used to it. And then, you know, after a month, if you're still like, I don't think this is the way it should go, then we can, you know, talk about changing things.
Constructive feedback. Don't, I hate it. That's really not constructive. What is the concern that you have? Be detailed in your praise or concern.
Anything new, it's gonna require a little bit of, getting used to. The main, go ahead.
I just had a question with my earlier question. Where would that lie? For example, that meeting where you have to make sure that you've applied and let Diana Sweet know, where would that lie in this website?
That
Like
That's a
an
good
event,
question.
one of the events that the public would come on our website and we want to let them know this is happening, the one you just mentioned, the very important one. Calendar?
Don't know.
There is a calendar, there's specifically for our committee, board and committee meetings right
Is there
now.
a banner for the
I
front
think
page?
it could be, I think we'll have to think about where events could go. Yeah, I don't have an answer.
Newsletter.
Our first complaint.
But, is there a newsletter also that's coming along with this?
Newsletter's coming along with.
So maybe that's
Yeah.
where this could.
Which is a different thing.
That's a
right? So
different
you have-
All right, well,
You have the website, you have newsletter, which has been mostly emails from Lucy. And then,
Will the newsletters be on the website as well?
They should be for information under report. Yes.
be in your email.
There be something under resources or reports. It's one of the two.
I'll skywrite them, carrier pigeon.
New drone. Slide.
Okay, so no, stay here. So one of the biggest changes is resolutions, where you're going to find them. So if you go back to the previous slide, right on the far top right, that big button there, resolutions, that's where you're gonna find resolutions. We made it a bigger button because that's a big, I think, item that people go to. You can go to the next slide. So that'll bring you to this page. And so, again, though, some of you have been using Airtable for resolutions. I've been using it exclusively because I've found it incredibly helpful. It's the only place I go to now for resolutions. But if you haven't been using them, it'll be the only way we can go to resolutions from now on. So it'll take you to this page. One button there is a tutorial. If you need the tutorial on how to use the Airtable for resolutions, it's made specifically for our table. And the other page is the resolution, so you can go to the next slide. And so the tutorial will show you, you know, this is how you do X, Y, and Z. That's what the Airtable looks like. And you can fully search on the far right. There's that little magnifying glass, and you can search. Like today, I searched helicopter, and it
that was a
came
perfect
with each, resolutions.
It's stellar. I will just say, for someone who uses it a lot, it's definitely a little tricky at the beginning, but once you get the hang of it, it's like a gift as compared to the old system.
Yeah, and it goes back to 2003.
Oh.
Awesome. All right, here we go. Let's rock and roll. Pictures out and about. Again, if you've got them, send them. This is Sunday or Monday at North Cove Marina, our fantastic City Hall Park, and the view out of the ladies' room.
Best view in the city.
It's the best view in the city, but don't tell me there's no traffic because the Brooklyn Bridge was packed.
Always.
All right, so here we are again, January updates, places I've been, things we've done. We had a great conversation with the mayor's office about the inaugural block party at the end of the year and how that was gonna work. Sadly, the thing that comes up more than anything is There are no places for public restrooms in our zone over here. Saying.
We have some
Usually
space at
mention it.
Gotham Park and we
Which
have
we
money.
mentioned to the city event people, just so you know. Anybody we can talk to. I want to welcome a new public member, Stacy Burt. She is a new public member that joined Youth and Ed. She's online or was online with us today. So I want to thank you for her participation. I ran her through some orientation. The Borough Board, recording from the first Borough Board meeting is online at YouTube and the Borough Board site. I highly recommend you watch it. It was really a very awesome meeting. And if you want to join Borough Board anytime looking ahead, the link is really prominent on his website, so you'll find it. Fun thing about the snowstorm, didn't really think about this when I was out. All the snow, you know, those nice grates that are up on the street that you hear in the subways, that means that the snow's in the subway. So, next slide. You can see Cortland was just a blanket. All right, Betty, thank you for the slide. That did not look like it was gonna be fun. This is, I assume, after they closed the marina, but you do see one ferry boat. As was announced, a second fair share analysis has been received for 320 Pearl Street. Councilmember Marte is following up. We're gonna take our lead from Councilmember Marte, but we will be sending every resolution, every letter, and everything that we have bundled together to send to him as he meets with the new deputy mayor over that topic. The developer, 25 Water Street, has offered a tour of 25 Water. If people are interested, I need you to email Onej. I'm gonna make her in charge of the tour group. So once, and with like a series of dates, and then we'll find one that works and send it off to the gentleman. Congratulations to Julie Menon, former CB1 chair. This is our new city council speaker. She does have a good heart for CB1, so let's hope we can get some good stuff done. All right, Land Use and Housing Group has been meeting. We're working on a report that hopefully will come out in February about affordable housing, and it's land use affordable housing because it's also in relation to the city of Yes and all the other lovely programs in terms of what has been produced, what has not been produced, what has been saved, and what has been lost. May is where we are scheduling a full community board training. The date is to be determined. It will be required attendance for all board members in the office, all including public. We still need volunteers for the Q1 get together, survey creators, and the newsletter. Okay. Okay, we're moving dates again, of course, because February we have a holiday. On the 16th, the office is fully closed. Don't call, we won't answer. Don't expect an answer to an email either. Environmental protection meeting is moved therefore to the 23rd, and I'm out of the office the entire week of the 16th. Don't think I'm being rude, but if you call, email, or text me, I'm not picking. All right, call Alice. Or call the office. All right, February 2nd is the FIDI tie-in. Please, please, please share that and sign up to go. February 22nd is February 5th is the town hall. You'll see next. The inauguration from the borough president. Stay up to date with the new administration. There's tons of changes. And they appointed 3 new commissioners today. The head of ICAS used to be somebody who was our rep under Margaret Chin. So it's fun to see you may have a new role at ICAS. Really, really fun. If you see anyone who is unhoused on the streets of Community Board 1 or anywhere, please call 311. Just call 311. And thank you, Justine, for those fabulous pictures. Thursday the 5th, Community Town Halls, Assemblymember Lee and Brian Kavanaugh. This has been distributed. It'll be distributed again. So next slide. This is for Brad's inaugural celebration and Borough Convention. This is on Sunday the 22nd. Again, QR code to RSVP. Next. And then the first precinct community meeting has been moved to the New York Law School because it's had such fabulous attention. They no longer attendance. It's no longer held at the first precinct. It's now at New York Law School. So I hope you can make it. If you have quality of life concerns, please go the 29th. Next slide. Motion to limit debate. We all know how this works. Moving along. Okay, here we go. First resolution. All right. If you were not here for roll call, I believe we only have one. You must do an oral vote. This is an officer term date change that we discussed last night in executive committee. Everybody should have the resolution. We voted on it last night. The election cycle stays exactly as it is, but the new person, instead of starting 3 days after the election or 4 days after the election, the new person, for all of officer leadership starts September 1. That gives July and August for a transition period. You'll see from the resolution, 3 of the boards have it that way, some do two, longer one. It's gonna be significantly important as we look ahead. We have 15 people coming off in 2027. That number dramatically increases as you look ahead. So there'll be a lot of new people. We're one of possibly 2 boards that do our elections in June. Others do March or November. We're not going down that road right now. This is just about putting in the transition period. So does anybody have any questions?
Richard, it doesn't seem clear what happens following cycle, that the election still occurs in June. I don't think the language is clear.
Okay, you wanna make a suggestion? Because it is only changing the term. The election stays as in June, and then the new leadership starts September 1. So your term is September 1 to August 31st.
It doesn't identify the year, so you could assume.
It is a permanent into the bylaw changes. It's a permanent bylaw change, so this is how we would work going ahead. It's not for this year, it's for all years. And our elections are done every 2 years.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Call the question.
Second.
Thank you. This is a vote in affirmation. Is there anybody who was not here before who is voting in affirmation?
Brown Kennedy votes yes.
Brown Kennedy is considered here and votes yes. Are there any in opposition? Are there any abstentions? Are there any recusals? Okay, motion passes. Downtown Skyport EDC, they came back last night to talk about the pilot increase in capacity with the change in operating hours. Again, this is not a permanent, this is a temporary change. And we went through this in extraordinary detail. Does anybody have any questions? I love that. Hearing and seeing no questions, a vote by affirmation.
That's true. I agree with them. Recording.
Are there any opposed?
No.
Canelo opposes.
Sean Scott opposed.
Sorry, I couldn't. Cameron, gotcha. Okay, thank you. So I have 3 in opposition so far. Are there any other opposed? Hearing none, no other opposition. Are there any abstentions?
Yeah, abstains.
Slowly and wait for you to be called on.
Blank abstains.
Corman abstains.
Rossi abstained.
Here, abstain.
Eric, you abstains.
All right, if you are online.
Who was that?
Here. Who online abstained?
Lerner abstains.
Lerner, thank you. Anybody else online?
Yeah, Kuchia, sorry.
Kuchia, thank you. Okay, are there any recused? Any recusals online? Okay, perfect, thank you. Believe motion. Yeah, I believe motion still passes. All right, thank you very much. We had a great presentation by the Independent Budget Office. We learned a couple of things that I thought were really important to know. For the first time in many, many years, IPO says the city is running at a deficit. And that, yeah, this is unprecedented. And their former controller, but the city, watch the reports. If you would like, you should watch the recording for what the IBO said. We are running, they estimated a $686 million deficit. The new controller says it could be as high as 2.2 billion deficit. And there are definite issues between the end of last year and the beginning of this one. So that is an important thing. And I think that is part of why the city budget is delayed coming back out to us to where we'll see it February 17th. We did ask for a lot of information. I highly encourage you to watch at least that portion of the IBO. It will give you a great understanding of where the city gets its revenues and how we can advocate. We asked for more directed information as well. It's near the end of the report, yes. The micro hub location review for the west side of South Street between Fulton and John. DOT has graciously said they will not be looking at that location any longer due to pushback from the Fulton Stall Market, the South Street Seaport Entertainment Group, and questions that were raised. They will be looking a little further down the street at options that are out of the main congestion zone. So they'll come back to us soon. It was a really productive and really nicely done when you make sure that all the parties came to the table. Everybody made a suggestion about where else they could be. And I thought that was really helpful. So thank you, everybody who participated. And with that, I close executive committee. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yep.
So is it my understanding that the budget, to be passed has to be neutral, there can't be deficit?
It's supposed to be, but they ended the year last year, running a deficit. It's-
Yeah, so when they propose the budget, it has to be neutral.
Correct. That was ours. IBO mentioned that there was, again, I think you should watch it. I don't want to throw the former controller under the bus. I don't think that's a wise move on my part. But, I would say that there are questions as to the handling of NYPD overtime, class size matters, initiative of the lower class sizes and the needs that are, for budget needs that go into that might not have been, forecasted accordingly and budgeted. Okay. Sorry, that's the best I can say. All right, Jason, you're on.
Oh, great.
You're putting the tie for us?
Franklin Street. Oh, do we have it? Sorry, do we have any slides?
Did you have a slide?
Show us some slides.
There you go.
There you go, okay. So we're seeing the remainder of these kind of great warehouse buildings get converted. This is a wide one on Franklin Street. They are reducing the bulkhead. They're removing the non-original fire escape. They're adding back the original cornice, and they're adding a additional story. Let's see the next one. This job talks about what they're doing. In lieu of the bulkhead, they're adding, in fact, sidewalk vault lights and granite slabs. So that's actually nice. With basement. Next slide might show what they're doing on top. No, that's it.
No, hold on. I'm stuck, so upset.
Okay.
I don't know what's.
No, I thought there was another slide. In any case, it's minimally visible. They're not. Maybe. Okay. So you see here's the addition, like setback on both elevations of the building and really, you know, done to minimize the visibility from the street. And we didn't feel like it was, you know, inappropriate in any way. So those are the things that are up for, you know, for the full board, for the Landmarks Commission, and otherwise they're replacing windows, they're doing cleanup. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
Is that added story visible from the street at all?
A little bit, but it has some kind of, I would say, some long views that are kind of unfortunate, right? And if we go back to the first slide, I forget how many stories this building is. It's taller than 5 stories, so, yeah. So I believe there's a bit of visibility kind of not over the primary facade. But I would say that's probably that and what they're doing at the ground are the two kind of reasons that we're seeing it. So,
So in the past, Landmarks has rejected applications where anything is visible on a landmark building, anything visible from the street. Have they changed their?
oh yeah, that's 10 years ago, that statement would be, yeah. I mean, they come to us, right? And we generally.
Egregious.
We generally like to see minimal, and like, let's say if this was like a 20-foot wide, 5-story building standalone, we'd say, 0, right? Unless there was some creative reason, or they found that there was a building that, so, but on a building of this scale, I would say it's kind of, for me, my personal opinion, professionally, it's within the boundaries of appropriate preservation / redevelopment. So, but you guys, judge it as you go.
Jason,
Whoever's there.
They're on.
I have a general question. When they remove the fire escape,
Yeah.
does that mean they have to build interior fire stairs?
Well, I don't want to speak on exactly, but this is likely a fireproof building, so the scissor stairs would do inside. It's not like a building made with wood, and the fire escape is not original, it's not like from when the building was built. I'm pretty sure there's 2 stairs.
Okay.
That both go to the roof. Yeah. Go to the roof plan, in fact. Yeah, I mean, I assume this is a stair bulkhead here that has 2 stairs in it. Okay.
Anybody else have any questions in the room? Any questions for anybody online?
Call the question.
Second.
Question's been called and seconded. Go with a vote by affirmation. So are there any opposed? Hearing none, are there any abstentions? Hearing none, are there any recusals? Motion passes. Thank you, Jason. I'm gonna ask, before Betty, I'm gonna ask to swap for Andrew, who is not feeling particularly fabulous at the moment and would like to go. He only has a report. And then he said he will sign off. Andrew, you still there?
Want to move through?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thanks, Tammy. We did not have any resolutions, just 3 very quick updates. First, we had a presentation from Rosa Chang and 3 members of staff from Gotham Park. I believe there are 2 slides that may be put up regarding this, but the presentation covered highlights from 2025, which included the fact that 4 acres of the 9-acre footprint came online in terms of access to the community. Second, that Gotham Park was designated as the formal plaza partner of the space, collaborating with Department of Transportation. This is not under Parks, this is under DOT. And then perhaps most significantly, and one that seems to have flown under the radar, Rosa, through her efforts with the board, have secured $56 million in construction funding from federal, state, and city resources. And I guess she just added $5K to that, if I understand, from one of the electeds today. So just an incredible job in terms of lining up funding to help with the build out of the park. And I'll come back to that in a second. The park was also recently featured in a New York Times article highlighting 17 ways the mayor can improve New York City. Gotham Park got upwards of 20,000 shout outs or votes, so well done. In terms of upcoming activity, Rosa and team, I believe in conjunction with DOT, will be embarking on a community roadshow with the objective of soliciting input from the community on what they would like to see in that space in the park. And again, the $56 million in funding, none of which has been earmarked yet, will support the ideas that come out of that roadshow. We also heard about events and programs such as ambassador programs for high schoolers, which you can all access from the Gotham Park website. So well done to Rosa and team. Then we had a brief update from Therese Flores from Parks Department. Many of you may be aware there's a newly appointed Parks Commissioner, Tricia Shimamura, who was formerly the Manhattan Borough Commissioner for Parks. So she's a well-known individual and resource to us. Also mention that Manhattan Park, which runs along Wall Street between Water and South, is underway in terms of a renovation for which there's a budget of approximately $4 million. It has gone through design phase, and you can see proposed design images on the park's website. And it is now moving through procurement to essentially line up a contractor to do the work. And then finally, I just gave a quick update about work at the BPC ball fields. If you've been by that space, you see that they're doing quite a bit of work, which includes the subsurface, the turf, and some of the infrastructure around the park. They had been making good progress. We were on target for a March 2nd back online date. I don't know if the storm, it certainly delayed work. I don't know what the potential impact is. I'll find out and report back. And that is the report from Waterfront Parks and Cultural Committee.
Andrew, there's questions in the room. Alice?
Another question, Andrew. I just wanted to add, first of all, Rosanna, bravo, it's amazing. And I was really excited. It was a great meeting for anybody who wants a little more detail, but what's really exciting is that I know you've promised to come back to talk about each one of these sections, because they're so inspiring as to how you're going to engage the community in defining and showing actual three-dimensional pictures of like the space itself, so we better understand with the forest and the Rose Park and the Pearl Park and the Water Park, how they connect into the overall plan. As I recall, that was something that you can do at some point. You voluntold. Well, I think it would be so valuable. I think we all thought that would be such a great idea. I know that was discussed at the meeting. I know I personally was very excited by that idea.
Yeah, we are going to be doing engagement and partnership with DOT, obviously. So DOT holds the wallet for the entirety of the $56 million. I was especially excited about the Manhattan Borough President's Grant because it's $5,000, but it actually comes to our nonprofit, so we can actually use that $5,000 versus the $56 million, which is DOT's. But so DOT really is the person, or not the person, the agency that will let us know when we are ready to go out, and then we will go out in partnership to the entire community and start getting ideas from all of you on what you need in public space in Lower Manhattan. So yeah, we hope sooner rather than later, but I don't control it as much as I try.
Any other questions for Andrew? All right, thanks, Andrew. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Thank you for hanging in there, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks,
Back to
Tammy.
our regularly scheduled programming and transportation and Dr. K.
Thank you. We're going to have 3 resolutions and then 1 report. So if you go to the next one, we'll get started with the Taste of Tribeca. Taste of Tribeca. And I'm mentioning them mostly because this is the first year they've actually come to the committee, and this is the first resolution. So some of you may not have seen these details in past years. Anyway, this is their 32nd time. So it's not a new thing. And in fact, the location's the same. As you can see, it'll be Greenwich Street, the 2 forks of Duane Street between Greenwich and Hudson. And they will be doing some storage of things they're using, but not activities themselves on Staples Street. So those will be the areas affected during the time of the event. Some information from last year. So you can see it is kind of the size of it. But also what's really to be proud about is they've been making a lot of great strides about green initiatives and have been very good about complete upgrading from year to year. So they've been very cooperative. And next. Also, in response to last year, some of you may recall there were complaints about noise. They had some issues around the late night, very early morning setting up of tents. And so that was, of course, a big point of discussion. And they seem to have worked that out. Here are some of the things that they are going to do. In addition, they have also committed to having some of their own leadership being on site throughout the night. So it's going to be a long night for them, but we'll see how it goes. So given their great participation, the committee was quite positive about them, and we do not oppose the street activity permit. And again, we recognize the importance of the event. This is a big fundraiser for arts and enrichment programs for the students at PS 234 and PS 150. Did you want to vote for them separately or together?
Hey, I think we could probably roll through together. We're making some good time. Let's go.
Okay, and this was for a request for a bus stop for the NYU shuttle. It's on Lafayette Street between Walker and White Street. Let's go to the next. You can see a picture of where it's located. If you look to the right, you can see the little sign. It's been there for Big Bus. What's kind of quirky about this as well, and the reason the students use it is their dormitory is on the next block over as you look into the picture on the right. And if you go out to the next one, you can see that actually, if this sounds familiar to some of you, in 2022, we had the same exact request, also for Academy Express, also for NYU Shuttle, and it passed, you can see, overwhelmingly. For some reason, it's coming back this year, and it appears that maybe they weren't always using the stop. There was some feeling for the DOT, we should look at it again for a new resolution. So again, there was no opposition to having the shuttle bus continue, and that's kind of it for this resolution. And the last of the three is a request for that the MTA improve conditions at Fulton Station, because it is getting rather run down. So this was therefore be it resolved. We were just urging the governor and the mayor to get some improvements at Fulton Station to improve the safety and quality of life issues before the big events that are coming, which would be nice if our district looked a little bit better and more welcoming, especially as we're encouraging people to use mass transit. And the Fulton Center be helpful, it was more welcoming.
Okay. So before you do updates, let's go back. Let's take questions on any of the three resolutions. So, because we said we were going to do them together. Alice is going to be first and then Eric is second.
There was somebody who spoke to me recently, I don't know who I should credit this idea with, but I thought it was a really good one of the potential of the Tribeca street, street activities like the film festival and like this event for food, to have some sort of community board presence, whether it's a flyer at the entry or somebody that could be there, but somehow or other, these are great opportunities. Yeah, I know, like no one's gonna
Are you
volunteer.
volunteering to on the table and?
Yeah, but I thought it was a really important idea that we haven't done, and I just wanted to throw it out there, just because I thought it was pretty good. Didn't come from me, but someone out there.
And we would love to have anybody who would like to volunteer on a weekend to do community board engagement. That'd be fun. And we'd be happy to train any of the board members who would like to do that.
Yeah, I'm not talking about every weekend, I'm just talking about the two main festivals, which would be the film festival and the food, but anyway.
But there's also Taste of the Seaport.
Yeah.
Which is a great
These are all
one.
examples of. We
Taste
always,
of Friday.
yeah, we often complain, we don't have enough community board interest, we don't have enough people coming, well, I just think that's a somewhat simple way, even if it's just a small little table with flyers and no person.
I would love for somebody to do that. I'll be on Taste of Tribeca Day. I'll be I'll be at BMCC
As
and
well.
eating my lunch there. All right, Eric, you're next, and Darren will be with me at BMCC that day.
Okay.
Maybe sneak over for 5 minutes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
My comment is on the Fulton Transit Center
Yes.
resolution. Betty, would you remove the whereas relating to congestion pricing? Because it's not relevant.
We actually had asked that at the meeting.
Right, because we didn't want to discuss the funding. We didn't want to get into it. Also, the statement saying that about the car ownership is irrelevant too, because people that own cars also use mass transit as well. And then the issue with Fulton Transit Center, it's not a capital project. The problem is it's a conflict or disagreement between the landlord, which is the MTA, and the leaseholder. So this is, congestion pricing has nothing to do with this, with this resolution to improve, the Fulton Transit Center.
Thank you. Obviously, the changes that were made did not get put into the office copy, so I will take care of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Betty, I'm looking right now, so it's the the fifth whereas in its entirety would be struck. Which talks about that, and then. I think that's the only place, unless I missed the other one, right?
I will look, the references to anything about the cars and anything about congestion pricing.
Yeah, I think it was just that one whereas. I think you did take it out of the therefore be it resolved. Yep.
I don't think it was ever in it, but anyway, I will look at that.
That looks good. Okay, thank you, Eric, for remembering that. Anybody else have their hands up? I think Justine had her hand up, no?
I
Or
did.
Jill?
I was jumping on Jill Goodkind's offer to volunteer to table at the Tribeca Film Festival. I was highlighting that, Jill, and saying
Yeah,
I
that was
think-
it. I'm volunteering.
There you go. And I think that all you have to do is ask and they'll give you a table. I'm not positive, but I think that's the process. The
Well, I'm
Tribeca
not
Film
gonna do that
Festival is a
part.
little complicated.
I'm gonna,
Jill.
but I will sit at the table.
Okay, so Jill and
Well, if you're
Justine.
excited, well, I say you can also go to the 5-borough bike tour if you want.
No, that's too
Yeah,
early.
there's so many opportunities. All right. So Jill and Justine, I'm gonna ask you to be in touch with the office, because Zach has the contact, details for the folks from Taste of Tribeca. We need to make sure, obviously, if they charge for the tables at every one of these festivals, so we need to see the cost of it. And then provide you with board materials and be a little bit prepared, all right? So, we'll take that afterwards. You can be in touch with Zach on that.
Francis.
And Alice, Francis?
Just a comment on the tabling, that we should really talk about that because, I've been at a couple and it's not that people come run, you don't get many people coming by the table unless you have some promotions, some giveaways and stuff like that. So we have to take that into consideration because if we don't have any stuff.
I know that, I mean, it's
Having, and also, well, but something creative because.
Stress balls?
No.
That's so common. I
We have to
mean,
get some of those potato chip clips from the
Look at
So,
The resolution, and
Again.
it doesn't have to do with the resolution.
thank you, I agree. So Alice, Francis, Jill, Justine, Zach, and I will get together offline, we'll figure it out. But first and
Okay.
foremost, we'll have to find out how much they're gonna charge us, and then we'll have to do an estimate on swag.
Why should we charge
Yeah.
Because they're
No,
not,
I was gonna agree to say what Alice said.
guys, stop.
Call the question.
They did used to,
Second.
let the community board have a table.
Okay.
At the Taste of Tribeca and also the local public schools for free. I don't know if they still do that, but they did.
As a courtesy.
Okay,
And it was
Well.
seconded by Cesar Cole.
it's been called, it's been seconded, are all in, we're gonna assume everyone's in favor of these resolutions. Are there any opposed? And if you oppose, please clearly outline which ones you're in opposition to. And if you are voting, you must have your camera on, period, end of statement to be counted. That includes Joe, Paul, Vicky, everybody's gotta have Jared.
Jared needs to.
Jared, you need to announce, because we didn't see you before, Laura Starr, Ushma, Paul, everybody has to have a camera on, Mark Amaruso as well.
I just reminded myself seeing Jared's name. It was Jared's idea. As I recall.
Thank you.
Just want to say.
Okay, so in order to be counted for voting, especially because during the emergency orders, quorum is not in the room, so I can't see your faces, you have to have your proper name and you have to be on camera. If you need to turn the camera off to go someplace, that is perfectly allowable, like the restroom, like we would here, walking out of the room to talk to anybody or use a facility. But when you're in the room and a vote is called, your camera has to be on to count. Mark, and Paul,
He has a vote.
and Ushma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jared and Mark, you need to call your name out for, counting to the vote. So for a vote by affirmation,
All right. Amoruso is abstain and then abstain and a no vote on Fulton.
Sheer, is a yes. On all three.
okay, thank you very, very much. And are there any abstentions? You have to say your name.
No.
and your abstain.
Eric Hugh abstains on the Fulton Transit Center.
Do you have to
No,
recuse?
recuse, I'm sorry. Recuse.
All right, are there any other abstentions or recusals? Thank you so much. Motions pass. Thank you, Betty. You want to go over your last report?
Yes, and the report, like usual, by all means, go look at the tape online if you want more information, but I do want to cover it because this is going to be tied to a presentation next week, next Wednesday, about blue highways. So it's important to understand this before you see that one, because they are related. This is part of the blue highways. Anyway, this is 2 pilot projects that are being done. As you can see, there's a collection of groups working together, but Empire Clean Cities is the project lead, and they were the presenters. Go to the next one. They are interested in sustainable last mile deliveries, and this was the original timeline they gave us a year ago. The first report was about Brooklyn to Governor's Island by ferry. This was the first pilot. And this is reporting as we asked them to, because now that they were done, spring, summer. If you go to the next one, spring, summer, they've ran this pilot. And what they did is there were cargo bikes on the Brooklyn side and on the Governor's Island side. These are pictures of what the cargo bikes look like. And they moved, these were food goods, and they were moved in these carrying bags that you can see here. They were just stacked inside of them. You go to the next one. This was the original pathway. You can see in red was when they were using the trucks. This was the traditional way this restaurant was stocked. But the Carreau Club volunteered to go run it for them as a pilot to see how it would function. When they went to the pilot, that's what you see in the green over to the right, where they were using cargo bikes at both ends. And as you can see, they didn't use the Governor's Island ferry moving a truck. They actually used originally the New York City ferry, and then into the project a little bit of way, they went to a dedicated marine vessel, again, taking pretty much the same route from Brooklyn directly to Governor's Island. Next. And so they came back again to talk about the lessons learned, and that's going to be important too when they present Blue Highways in the February meeting. These are all pilots. They're trying to figure out how things are going to operate because they want to scale up and work out any of the bugs that they find out along the way. And they found there were a number of issues because they want to expand to the number of, these are again, food related industries, dealing with restaurants and others. Next. The second pilot, again, this was looking at, rather than coming from Brooklyn, they're coming down from the Bronx, and they're dealing with Blue Ribbon, which is a seafood company. It's coming out of Hunts Point. And they came down the East River, and they actually came into Pier 17, although that's not necessarily a permanent situation. It's what they used for this pilot, which was held in December. Next. So you can see the loading that they did. And in this case, what they did was all the frozen goods were packaged so that they could remain frozen, and they did not use any other refrigeration while on the boat or while on the cargo bikes at either end. Which was aided by December, but also by the fact that they said it was very predictable using the boat compared to using trucks where they get caught in traffic. So again, the next steps, as you can see, are how do they scale it up and how do they work out some of the bugs? So they are out there seeking more companies to participate. Next. So I'm selling the point for the February meeting for those who are interested in learning more. One, watch the tape. But New York City EDC and the New York City DOT are scheduled to speak about Blue Highway's action plan. These pilots are both part of that. So come to the February Transportation Committee. If you're interested, watch the tape if you can't make it that night. Thank you.
I think Danny's taking leave. Okay, thanks a lot, Betty. That was very helpful. Does anyone have any questions? Yes. Francis?
In terms of that last one, the blue highways?
Yeah.
Coming down the East River, I'm concerned because that East River traffic, there's so much stuff going on. I face that way, and I see between the jet skis and the regular transportation stuff that comes up and down there, and the new taxis, the water taxis going from A to B and Bronx, and it's a lot of traffic going on so to include that as well. Is there a time period, you know, is there such thing as a rush hour time there? Is it? I don't know.
I think this is just a pilot, so I don't think anything's been established in terms of hours. But Betty, do you want to address that further, that question from Francis? Betty?
Yes, no, I mean, New York City has a history of being a marine city. So I think people are not used to the volume that used to be handled. But these are the kinds of questions, by all means, ask the EDC, which handles more of the marine side of the Blue Highways. The DOT handles more of the land side of the project.
I will say though that I had a conversation with Gigi Lee, who is the EDC rep, because there have been different reports about possibilities of what is possible on pilots that are run by EDC, what EDC has told Community Board 1, and then what DOT has told Community Board 1. And then Betty dovetailed them together by saying, well, DOT didn't want to wait the 2 years that EDC was going to take to get the Pier 6 pilot going, but they were also working on other pilots, I was told. So we asked EDC if the long-term goal is to figure out Blue Highway, because it doesn't really make a difference. There's plenty of room on the highway, but we don't want the cargo riding up and down the greenways, either on the east or west side, to impact the bicycles and the pedestrians. So there's an infrastructure need on the streets on how to connect everything, and to have EDC be an agency that wraps all of it together to have a more holistic approach and to come back with us. And so that was a conversation I had with EDC on Friday.
Yes, and in February, there'll be representatives from both groups at the presentation.
Okay.
All right.
Land use. I think this is,
Netta. Or Netta.
Ned and I co-chaired this meeting, but you take it away. I'll do the.
So we have two reports for this month. We met with E-Acceleration, which are the guys who are behind Breezy and Oculus, and Good Sport that opened. They were at the committee talking about the vacancy of storefronts that we have in downtown Manhattan. The community members emphasized that the model that they currently have does not address the rent affordability. No, it's actually the first one. Which is the primary barrier that storefronts in downtown have. And the discussion focused on whether the accelerator could function as a screening or as a coordination tool in high vacancy environments. We were not required or requested for passive resolution. It was just for information. And the second one, the report is also as of right, if you go to the site plan. This is 50 to 58 Cliff Street. It's near Fulton and Seaport. It's in a relatively dense residential area, increasingly more dense. There are multiple large projects that are already built for their plans to go up around the area. The development is as of right. They presented to the community board, for comments and to be a good neighbor. The floor, the plan, the ground level is approximately 6,000 square feet. It's directly adjacent to St. Margaret's house. And it is cornered by Cliff and Beekman, both pedestrian streets. The footprint is already fully built. The community had concerns about the operations, the servicing of the building, the access of trucks, emergency egressing out of the building. We asked for the information, they're working on the information, and we haven't received their floor plan yet, but they are aware of the concerns that the committee brought up. Can you go to the next one? So it's a very contextual building, what they're proposing. It's 24 stories high. It has a terrace on 8th floor. It is open to all the residents of the building. It's not a public amenity for the community. It is a fully affordable building. And it's permanently affordable. The land is owned by Trinity Church. The developer is Settlement Housing Fund, which is a nonprofit developer. They are not at max height. They are not at max square footage that they could be building on the site. So they are intentionally leaving some square footage on the table and making the building shorter to be contextual. And if you go to the next slide, it has a diagram that shows the building, which is the star in the middle. Proposed height of 24 stories in comparison to the surrounding buildings around the neighboring buildings that are around and their height. So it fits within the more or less same heights as what's around. I mean, the concerns of servicing operations, they all came up during the committee. Yeah, brownfield units.
Yeah, do you want to go straight to brownfield or?
Sure, I can jump in there if you want to. I mean, there's not much to say, except that this, the Trinity Church has applied for the brownfield program. This is similar to what we know in 250 Water Street, for example, and the assessment here, we have, oh, thank you for that. So you can see over the red squares, they did an original assessment, environmental site assessment to identify that this was a site of 3 buildings, and you'll see essential oils written on that. Basically, this was a commercial warehouse that didn't make oils, they simply did business in oils, and the oils were probably left over in New Jersey. All this to say that it's not really a site that has been terribly compromised at all. There is, like in every site in New York, some compromised fill, and they're the first to say that's true. But this has a little bit more. And in fairness, what people do often when they apply for brownfields like this is they first have to be accepted. But once they're accepted, they have a lot of tax advantage, of course. And there's a financial reason behind this as well as, a good ethical one in cleaning up the site. So that's where they are right now. They assume the DEC will provide the pass to become a brownfield, and then they will engage with the community very robustly on a lot of levels about what's there and how it's remediated. But the basic idea is that you have nothing to worry about. It's no near the year when you get it, Mercury at 250. This is just a commercial building that had some slight elevation of fill. And that's the story, and they'll come back to us on, the next phase of this. That's it for the brownfield. And then we had, I guess, the last presentation. Well, are there any questions
Yeah,
on?
let's take
Let's
questions
read.
on. Before we hit this, go back one, if you don't mind. Let's just do the questions on that section. Because I think between land use and this. All right,
These are reports, so there's a limited.
Eric.
Yeah, this is just a quick question. You mentioned tax advantages as a result of this brownfield cleanup, if they qualify. But since this is operated and owned by nonprofits, they wouldn't pay taxes anyway, right?
Yeah, well, I can't answer the question,
Right.
exactly the economic, underpinning of this, but my impression was there is some advantage here that they gain in this. And they in fact even said they could still afford to do the project even if they don't do a brownfield. So there was a sense that was definitely a gain, but I would have to identify exactly what that is. We'd have to do a little more research, sorry. Yeah.
Okay,
It's their financing.
Say it again?
It's their financing.
yeah,
Oh,
Right.
alrighty. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, I see no hands up online. Moving forward.
Right, so this is the moving FIDI report. I'm just gonna show you slides just to sort of, like what Betty does, tempt you into coming to the meeting in February. It's a really important application. It's ours. We will write a resolution on Monday, February 23rd, on this very huge project at FIDI Seaport. And at this last meeting, thrilled to have Landis with us so that an environment protection together, so we could talk about a lot of the ideas or things that we want to see and want to include in the resolution. So I'm not going to go over all that. I'm just going to show you that we are divided it into these 4 sections, well, they have, and we are going to comment on each section. We've already commented as a board on the southern tie-in, but you have the Ferry Hub, Harborview Park, and Seaport Piers. Next slide. Just to sort of, I would ask that everyone spends time, this is on the site for the FIDI Seaport, you can look at the whole report, and just be prepared for comments, because this is, one of the few times we're going to be able to write something on the community's behalf. So you've got the Ferry Hub, you're looking at, the battery maritime building and the new ferry terminals, Governor's Island, Staten Island. Next slide. This is from the other side, Ferry Hub looking from South Street, coming towards the south. And again, we will review this in great detail in the next meeting. Next slide. The park, the so-called alleged park, the Harborview Park, this is more of a esplanade. And, very, very, a lot of comments on this, very important piece, how, this is the moment where we're adding on a lot of acreage into our community. What do we want to see? How can this really be best resolved? Next slide. And that's from the other side, so we're looking out, a lot of people commented maybe not quite enough green there, for example, and things like that. So, jotting notes as you go through it yourself would be really helpful, and then coming to the meeting or texting or writing back about your thoughts to me. And the next slide. Okay, next slide. Seaport Piers is the next group, and that's just a shot of what we're looking at the gateway, looking south from Pier 17. And so another whole area that's being completely, of course, redeveloped potentially in the future. And I think that's it. So just a reminder as to what we're going to be looking. Oh, I'm sorry, the southern tie, which, as I said, we've already done. So those are the 4 areas. Really encourage you all to look it over and opine if you're interested. And that's it. Thank you. License. Or any questions about this?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, hi, I attended, I just want to mention something that was discussed at the meeting. Part of the plan includes, a proposal to create a Lower Manhattan Special Assessment District. They would have the power to, increase, to place a property tax surcharge or some kind of sales tax surcharge, property insurance surcharge to fund this, because they don't have the funding source for it, and
For the operation.
the fund and of operation and maintenance. So I think that's very important. I don't think that this, well, I'm concerned about that. I am about having more fees and taxes levied upon us. Okay, so I just want you to know that's where they're considering the funding. So please attend the meeting and find out more, because if that's the case, then I would like them to when they design this, to be budget conscious, because they're gonna ask us to pay for it. Let's keep that in mind.
It was a great point, Eric. It will definitely be included in our resolution. It's really important. We don't often look at that aspect of this project yet. So thank you, and we definitely want to follow up on that. Yeah.
Anybody else? So anybody online? The only thing I'm gonna ask, what we'll try and do before, because this meeting is February 23rd, is to have a file folder that you can access all the information, much like we've done before for Battery Park City. This is a huge project. This is massive amounts of input that we need to get back, and much, like Eric had noted, there's financial potentials to have conversations about. There's design, there's water line, there's so many things. Bring anything that you want, but make sure you bring or send your comments. Because this could be the one time we have an opportunity to really hear robust feedback.
And I might add as soon as possible, because the following day after this meeting is the full board meeting where we will have to ratify this resolution, which puts some of us usually into a rather precarious position of writing this all night. So earlier the better on the comments would be great. Thanks.
All right, next.
I think this license.
Susan and Francis, you're up. And
Francis is gonna do it.
Okay.
She's
And
there.
it's very key, because I hope you got to read all the resolutions. I'm gonna, because I want to take them all together. Really no, controversy, except there was a little concern about 19th, Fulton Street. What's that one? South William Street in terms of the 4 AM, but it's in that area, that Stone Street area, and, you know, traditionally, that's the time that they got, and there was no, complaints.
But then,
Yeah.
was that a renewal?
Excuse me?
Is that a renewal or is it new?
And then.
They had had 2A
Yeah, it had-
before, so it was an extension of their,
So
Yeah.
they were already operating it.
Yeah.
They've been operating for a long time.
You were asked my questions?
So, Jeff, yes.
I have a couple questions. One is, there is, one or two, on the 89 South Street one, not South William. There is at least one typo, two typos, where it's identified as South William. So there's a Renegade William, in the first whereas,
Yes, I see it. Thank you very much.
as well as in the be it resolved.
Sorry.
So it's just a typo.
Thank you.
I usually get those.
Thanks,
And then I-
Jeff.
So this, hold on, so this is 89 South Street. Which whereas has the,
The first whereas and the be it resolved have South William Street.
Right, and now, so, yeah.
South Street?
So that's just a typo.
Gotcha.
This, yeah.
Thank you.
And then I had a question, and the question was related to, 277 Church.
Yes.
Says the applicant has not signed the stipulation sheet.
Not yet, not yet.
Okay.
Yes, so there are a few, I think there are 2 or 3 that they have not yet signed it. I have sent it to them, they have agreed, I'm just waiting on the actual official.
All right.
So this doesn't go through until we get that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as
So
soon as I
this
get
one's
it
gonna hold
this
it.
week, it'll be. updated.
Everything else.
Okay, all right.
And if they do not sign the steps that match the resolution will be rescinded and come back to us next week.
Right.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just curious about I'm sorry, 277 Church also. Did anyone from that building, show up and talk about their concerns at all? It's a very big space, and now what was, I think, 2 venues. Originally, it was the wonderful jazz bar, B Flat, and then a restaurant. It's now like one large venue, and I just was curious if anybody from the community.
But they had signatures from every unit in the building, as well as.
They had a lot
from
of
the-
neighborhood.
They had like a Lane Street, they had like a lot of
I
nearby.
mean, the building itself.
Yeah.
There were 6 units in the building, they had 6 signatures.
There's another question over here.
Thank you.
Whoever's hand is up over there that I can't see, go for it.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
okay. All right.
Any online?
And seconded.
Question was called, question was seconded. We'll do a vote by affirmation. Are there any in opposition?
Our cameras on.
Oh gosh, Jill, Betty. Please don't make me be the school marm.
Wendy, Joe, Paul,
Mark, Paul.
Mark.
Paul, camera.
Ushma, Laura Star, because there's also,
You've got to have your cameras on to vote. Otherwise, your votes are not counted and you're not considered substantially in the meeting. Joe, what's up?
Number 1 and 2, no.
Thank you.
Which one?
Number 1 and 2 of what?
Hold on, Joe, can you read the addresses out that you're saying no to, please?
It's a Fulton Street.
Oh.
Okay,
One
gotcha.
Fulton Street, and I think the other is 19 Fulton and 1 Fulton.
All right, gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Laura, calling once, calling twice for your camera. Let me just see, Joe's is on, Pat, your thing needs to be on. Mark Amaruso, your hand is up. And Justine, your camera needs to be on. No camera?
Yeah.
Mark.
Mark, did you have your
Yeah.
hand up?
Yeah, yes and everything, but I wanted to say something after Susan's finished.
Oh,
Francis.
Susan is finished.
Fran-
we're in the
Susan's
middle of the
finished,
vote.
Francis.
Middle of the vote. Okay,
Or
hearing no
Francis,
more
yep.
opposition. No more in opposition, no abstentions, no recusals, correct? All right. I will say for the last time, Justine, I do not see your camera on. Mark, I do
Can you
not see
hear me?
yours. I
Can you
hear you
hear
loud
me?
and clear.
My
There you are.
camera's on to me.
I see you now. Stop.
Okay.
Vicky, I need your camera on. Mark, Pat, Laura.
Okay, my camera's on and has been on.
Camera's been on.
Okay,
Something's
gotcha.
wrong.
Right, thank you. Mark, do you have anything you'd like to say? If you want to change your vote, you need to say.
Yeah,
no.
we brought this up at the meeting, and be real quick about it. This is for the future, near future that we had to worry about. In the governor's state of the state, she's directed the SLA to now allow basically dancing anywhere. There wouldn't necessarily be any special permits. They still have to inform the community board, but you can have dancing in restaurants. So this could be just like a backdoor way to open a disco. So if we give away these 2, 3, 4 a.m. licenses, they can become they can have dancing after they've served their meals. I mean, like all the hard work we went through over the years, trying to get this, not to have this happen, because way back before most of you were on the board, and the SLA was not comprised as it is now, organized as it is now, we'd have French bistros coming, saying they're going to be a French bistro, and then the next thing you know, they're a discotheque. So now we got to, I think, worry about this again when we didn't have to. So all our hard work for all those years, many years ago, has gone down the toilet if this thing comes to fruition. So it's something we need to address and look into.
Mark, I suggest you take this up in committee. We can certainly change the stipulation forms to address your concern, to ensure that if a restaurant is coming to us, that they unless they're doing buyouts and
Yeah,
hosting
that
events.
might be the only salvation. Now, I don't want to get into a debate about it. It's just FYI for everybody.
Okay, bring it up in committee in February. That sounds great.
And more than likely, they gotta come back for renewal, so at that point, we could, if it has changed, then we deal with it then.
All right.
All right, so add this to the agenda. Add this to the agenda next month to review stipulations.
Okay.
I voted.
Muted Mark. He voted?
No, so we already voted.
We already voted. Just for the record, blank said, was a no on 19 Fulton. She said it, I just didn't say it loud enough. Okay, moving along. Thank you. Not bad considering we had 2 electeds here today. Desi.
Yes. So,
And I'm gonna announce, I know that public members do not have standing at the full board. Stacy Burt is online as our public member, because she's also a PS 150 parent. So she's online as our local expert for there to back up our youth and ed committee. So Desi, take it away.
yeah, I was going to introduce her. I just wanted to know quickly, we had a discussion, on the freezing of childcare funds. And so, is that, do you remember who we had? Was that person from Dan Goldman's office? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, yeah. So as of now, it doesn't seem that there is any hold, but the federal government put a freeze on 5 states on childcare funds: California, Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, and New York, $40 billion. So, and they happen to be Democratic, surprise states. So, it doesn't seem right now that there is going to be, any impact on New York State's. They still are going ahead with, 2Care and 3K and 4K programming. There will be some waitlisting, of some of those programs, but it does seem that programming is going ahead and there isn't any impact yet. But that just happened in January. We're still in January, so it's yet to be seen, but there are some concerns. But right now, there does seem to be some programming that will still go ahead. So I just wanted to mention that. And as you mentioned, we have Stacy Burt, who's our new public member. Everybody, welcome Stacy. She is a parent at 150. We put together a resolution. Everyone was in favor of it, including our new member.
Can I call you back in about an hour?
Okay.
Joe, we're gonna be done in.
Joe, we're gonna zip right through this. It involved the positioning of PS 150. For almost 10 years, it has been at Trinity Place, which basically seems to be, like barbed wire for this school. It is, about 475 students, ages 2 to 11 years old. It's, major thoroughfare, city buses, traffic, and it isn't safe. We've been trying for many years to get it repositioned, and this resolution is one, asking that we get a crossing guard at both Trinity Place and Rector Street. Also getting a re-sighting of the bus stop that's there at Trinity Place, and also getting the DOT to approve that the school opening be repositioned at Edgar Street. Does anybody have any questions?
Chairwoman Nelson.
Chairwoman Meltzer, do you have a question?
I'm just gonna give you an edit for the whereas DOT claimed that the westbound street of Edgar Street couldn't be closed, but DOT recommended that PS 150 file an open street permit. Not that, they could, they actually recommended it.
Okay.
And then the one right after that is.
Where's that?
Page 2 of 3 at the bottom, third up.
2, 3.
And then the second to last whereas on page 2, PS 150 applied for an open street permit with full support and letter from CB1 and the community.
Where's that?
I'm adding with a letter.
Oh, you're adding it where?
With a letter of full support from CB1 and the community.
Page 2?
On page 2, where it says, because they applied for the open street permit.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe they applied. Stacy, I will need you to answer this question. I believe that you applied in year 1 and you got it, and then you were denied subsequently.
Yes, that's correct.
So that needs to be reflected in here, because there was no reason from the community's perspective that they were denied, so I would I would put it in here, they applied with full support, with a letter of full support from CD1 and the community, were approved in year one and denied without reason subsequently. Ridiculous. Oh, sorry. Okay, thank you. Eric?
Yes, so, the resolution says that to relocate the bus stop, so the bus stop is across the street from the school though, right? I mean, it's on the other side of the street, right?
Yeah, I mean, can you help me out here? Because it's hard to say like what across the street.
Corner would be on the other side.
I can hop in, Desi, if you'd like.
Yeah.
Just answer the question, yes.
Yeah, it's technically located across the street about half a block up. Whether
Yeah.
that's used or not is the question.
And it's a risk, pardon, I didn't attend the meeting, but it's across the street, it's not in front, it's not on, in front of this.
Kids have to cross the street, there's no on and off without having to cross a street, and that's an issue.
I could expound because I used to be there, my son used to be there. If it's across on the northeast side of Trinity, then it stops on the east side and the kids get out on that east side, go around the front of the bus and then cross the street. And Trinity is a hazard because there are a lot of buses, express buses, regular buses, tourist buses, barreling in Trinity place.
We should have had a map of it for people to see.
And then the other question was that DOT recommended, you request for an open street permit?
Yes, that's correct.
That closed half of Edgar.
Oh, Edgar, thank you.
Half
I
of
was
Edgar.
wondering about, yeah.
No, it was, thank you, it was the westbound lane of Edgar. And that's what we all approved of, they said yes in year one, and then subsequently.
Call the question.
Second?
Fantastic, okay, I'm gonna assume everybody's in agreement, are there any in opposition? Are there any abstaining? Any recusing? Fantastic, motion passes, thank you very much.
Pat and Vicky, we need your cameras on. Yeah, our phone is down.
Yeah.
Who else? Everybody with cameras on?
You see me, right? Yeah, okay, I'm popping up.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thanks, Stacy. Pat, Mark, Wendy, and Laura.
My camera's been on the whole time. I don't turn my camera off.
Okay, maybe it's just because,
I'm on.
okay,
Can you see me?
yes, I see Wendy.
Okay.
Motion on now, Steve.
Inez, you can go to the next.
Okay, great. And, thank you very much. Next, Andrew's gone, so next. We've already done all that. That brings us to Pat.
Mariana.
Miriam's gonna do it, and if you want me to do the Trinity Stock Exchange building, I will.
Okay,
Okay. So we went into this meeting with the possibility of doing 4 resolutions, ended up doing 2. The first presentation was of the New York Health Act. It is basically a universal healthcare, universal Medicare type proposal for the state of New York. I had some concerns on behalf of the 9/11 community as to how, if at all, it might impact the federal program, the World Trade Center Health Program, because there are things involved in the way that those doctors get paid, and we need to make sure that we maintain a particular expertise of doctor, and we don't want them leaving because their payments are delayed or they're not enough. So I had those concerns. There were other concerns with regard to unions and how it could be viewed as denying their ability to collective bargain. That might have been the end of the concerns. Otherwise, it sounded, I mean, everybody wants universal health care if we can get it, right? Without the problems. So it was otherwise supported, but we didn't feel like we could do the resolution at that point because there were just too many serious questions that require answers first. Probably try to have them back in March, possibly February, but more likely March. And I'm gonna also try at that time, at least for the 9/11 part, to see if Dr. Wilson, like the head of the program, can be present. I don't know how much she'll be able to speak, if she is present, because Trump has a pause on communication to an extent, but I'm gonna see if maybe we can have somebody in the room that can answer those questions. And maybe we'll be able to have somebody that can answer the questions about the union as well.
Could I add something on that?
Sure.
Another concern was about access to doctors, but some people were concerned that some doctors would not accept the reimbursement.
Yeah.
And I remember that was an issue with some people, so that if you had, only a few doctors, accepting the New York Health Act reimbursement, it might be hard to get an appointment, it might be hard to see a doctor, it might be hard to see a specialist.
Right, the doctors, particularly specialists,
Yeah.
may decide to just move to solely concierge care, like, I don't have time to deal with this, not getting paid. And that's a question, that's a problem. So we didn't want to move forward with the resolution with all those kinds of questions hanging in the balance, and so we left it as a report. The protest buffer for houses of worship, this came up because right before former Mayor Eric Adams left, he had passed a couple of executive orders, one of which required that people remain a certain distance from any houses of worship when they're doing a protest, so as not to intimidate people going in or coming out that are trying to pray and stuff. So when the new mayor came in, Mayor Mamdani, he erased everything that Eric Adams had did, including that resolution, which was, particularly desired by most of the population. And so, I guess whether pressured or not, he decided to reinstate it again to an extent. So he wrote an executive order of his own. He also gave instructions to the police commissioner to sort of enforce that at least, I think it's a small amount, around 15 feet is kept at least. Speaker Julie Menon of the City Council has another proposal, potential bill that she's working on. We're gonna try to get that number for the next time that we talk about this. And then maybe pass the resolution then, because we couldn't find her bill number. So, but she was proposing 100 feet, which sounded more appropriate to a lot of us. The next one, the budget priorities for Bellevue Hospital. It's not really specific to Bellevue Hospital. It's actually all of Health and Hospital Corporation, or HHC's hospitals. So it would include more local to us, Gouverneur Hospital, for example. It would include like Elmhurst and Queens. These are all public hospitals. But we were working with the people who are on the Bellevue CAB, or Community Advisory Board. And we decided, they brought their resolution with them. We decided to pass that resolution. We had 2 abstentions in the room. He gave me, oh, this is it. What you have in the packet is missing. We asked that the resolution be left as is, and we voted on it, although there were a couple of members who had problems with the telehealth that's mentioned. So those 2 members abstained, but the resolution was supposed to stay intact. It inadvertently got deleted. So I'll just, basically that portion about the telehealth. It's whereas the Bellevue Community Advisory Board respectfully requests support of the following: make permanent the fee for service upper payment limit instead of expiring in March of 31st of 2026. Is coming up really quickly, really soon, a funding mechanism which provides an enhanced Medicaid reimbursement rate that better reflects the actual cost and utilization of service. So this too is meant to more mimic Medicare than what it does now. Right now, Medicaid payments are substantially less than Medicare, and so the intent is to bring it up. Also to make permanent the telehealth parity law, suggesting that if you go in person or you go on video, it's the same thing. You're still seeing the same doctor, and they deserve to be paid the same rate. that's where there was disagreement. Some people felt that they agreed with that, doctors should get paid the same thing, some felt not. What the hospital, at least the people that were presenting there, what they felt was important was that, to mention was that they had a lot of trouble, particularly with mental health, getting people to come into the hospital for mental health. But with telehealth, the numbers are really high. And so they need to be able to keep those services going and keep being able to keep providing that. And so that's why they're seeking that full funding for that portion. Yeah, make it permanent instead of expiring. That would increase access by enabling Bellevue to continue to provide telehealth care to vulnerable patients. And also support an overall increase in Medicaid reimbursement rates for safety net providers, because increasing Medicaid reimbursement rates for those providers to better reflect the actual cost of delivering care is the best method to address disparities among hospitals and to promote health equity. Something that we may want to do separate from this later date resolution is to ask the governor to fully fund Medicaid, period, because that would solve a lot of problems. There's a lot of things that need more money from Medicaid, and it's not available because we never fully fund it at the state level. So that's that resolution. And the last resolution is for.
Let's pause for questions.
Okay,
because
I'm sorry.
You have the last two resolutions of the night. And because there are changes to that resolution alone, and I'm one of those people who was not happy about the telehealth bid, let's do them separate so we can pass them separate. Not that
fair enough.
So we'll go around the room for questions. I'll go last on where I came from. I'm gonna go Jeff and then Aaron.
Question I have is, who or what determined, who is this request going to in terms of they request support for the following? Who needs to do what to make the following take place? Is this something that the governor can just declare? Is it something that Congress has to overturn the big beautiful bill? Is it something that the state legislature does?
I could be the person that was sending it to the city. Pat, what do you remember?
I'm sorry, I
So
don't.
who-
Zach, do you?
City and state budget.
City and state budget, okay.
Okay.
Eric, you're next.
I support HHC, especially since if downtown Manhattan's hospital is overwhelmed, they'll send patients or, ambulances up to Bellevue. But in the resolution that was given to everyone, the telehealth wasn't in there.
Right, that's why, Zach started with this.
Oh, okay, so, but I don't support that because telehealth is not the equivalent, and I don't, look, I'm not in the medical field, I was an EMT, but I just don't see how telehealth is the same as being in the doctor's office. They can't see your, they don't use their senses to see your symptoms. It's not a full engagement of the doctor's abilities to diagnose. So I don't think there should be parity in payment compensation. Yeah. But other than that, I support HFC.
Cody?
I do think there should be parity, especially with mental health, because I know a lot of therapists who, all their clients who are
On Zoom now.
they're not going and sitting on the couch anymore. And so more and more people have been brought to, care. That way it has provided access to mental health care. So. Both could be true. Mental health, that could be true. I'm sorry.
Mitch, you're next. Speak loudly because it's hard to hear even Cody on the
I was just kind of agreeing to both. Both can be true at the same time. For the mental health, I could see the telehealth having almost the same results online. But as far as the physical, looking down the throat, so I think both can be true at the same time.
Okay, let's see if there's anybody online. Susan Cole, your hand is up. And then Pat.
Pat was before me.
Okay, so Pat,
thank you.
Susan.
Thanks, Susan. The thing about it is that was the discussion that was had at the committee, that several members thought that telehealth was shouldn't be the same price as in person. But the reality is the money's not going into the doctor's pockets. The money is going to the hospital. And the hospital treats a lot of patients that can't pay full price. So I just feel like telehealth, a lot of the patients also were seeking mental services or therapy, and the hospital will not be able to continue to provide telehealth if they don't get the same payment as they do for in-person visits. So my feeling was, I think it's fine if they get the same price for telehealth visits.
I also got this email, I just remembered, earlier this morning. It says, during the Q&A session of Renee's presentation last week, seeking support for Bellevue, an excellent question arose about the cost of telehealth versus in-person visits, and whether this apparent disparity mitigates against payment parity. To answer the question, I researched the cost and the value of telehealth. This question matters because post-COVID national surveys and Bellevue's own experience is that about 20% of the 20% of patient encounters are via telehealth. In Bellevue, 2025, they experienced that, and in Elmont, they experienced it very heavily in 2021. Providers who only provide telehealth services with no in-office expenses may have reduced costs. However, most providers have hybrid practices that provide both in-office and telehealth services and pay rent, utilities, staff, etc., as well as telecommunication subscriptions and fees and digital devices and maintenance of those. Telehealth appears to be a substitute for in-person visits, with certain visits in the office, for example, for physical exams and testing, and others assigned as telehealth. Telehealth does not necessarily lead to overutilization or the inability of the provider or hospital or physician to provide services. In addition, telehealth per se does not require less clinical effort or lead to low value care. In fact, in recent research, telehealth payments and parity was associated with higher diagnosis rates of cancer and increased contraceptive visits. Patients for whom accessibility, like transportation, childcare, work, or disability is a problem, and patients needing routine follow-up visits benefit from telehealth.
So Mariama, thank you for reading that. We're gonna have to share that with the full board. Here's the problem that I have. It's not in the resolution now. It was voted on in committee, right? So far I'm getting a little bit of pushing back and forth. So would it be appropriate to do a separate resolution on telehealth? Leave it out of this one, which then gives the opportunity to go over the email that you've given and go with the resolution as presented to the full board.
If we have enough people that have a problem with telehealth,
I mean, just to be clear, it was voted in on the committee.
we voted for the whole thing
That part's.
at committee?
Yes,
Okay.
separate it out.
Yeah.
So, all right, Justine,
have to-
Susan's next, and then Justine.
As a
Susan.
licensed social worker, hello, I would like to agree with Pat and that telehealth works for a lot of people. There should be parity, and we're quibbling over the wrong thing. But people need telehealth. They need to be able to do it. It's any way to cut back on the individual. That's what always bothers me, and specifically for Medicaid people. So anyway, that's my opinion. The end.
Thank you, Susan, Justine, and I'm gonna start to cut everybody down to 2 minutes.
Now, I just have a question. I'm not clear what the resolution says as it is, because is telehealth included and we're supporting it? Is telehealth included?
It was supposed to be included because that's what it was voted on last week. It was a typographical omission that it was left off by the staff. So, it was included.
And it was included as telehealth being the same price as in person? Okay. Okay, thank you. So unless something changes, if we vote, that should be included because that was supposed to be included. And I guess my comment would be that I agree with Pat and with Susan, and I guess Mariama too, and whoever else said it. I think it should be the same price.
Heard. All right.
Thank you.
I know the lovely man next to me would like to motion to limit to debate.
4 minutes.
And it's been seconded. Do we all in general agree because it's a votable thing? Okay, I see nodding heads around the room, so I don't have to take official vote. Great. I go next on my comment. I 100% agree. I think telehealth is a valuable thing for mental health services, but I'm sorry. If I'm going to a cardiac doctor I don't want telehealth. I need him to listen to my heart. I don't think telehealth is equitable in terms of medical services when it comes to somebody on the phone saying, how's your blood pressure today? Not the doctor. I think those services need to be in person. So I struggle with this, and it's not that I support 99% of this. And I agree that telehealth for mental health services is great, but anything where you gotta get a hands on you, where like they need to get your vitals, I don't get that. Like, I just don't get that as being a telehealth equal on parity value as in person. Because what the telehealth guy is gonna say, you gotta go to the hospital. Oh, your chest hurts? Go to the hospital. So, that's the part I quibble with, and that's the part I really wish didn't end up in the resolution.
Okay.
So, and
Can we amend it and say, exactly, point out, because it's logical. You won't
If it's
see a
not about a problem,
cardiologist can't help you, with telehealth. If it's.
So if we don't, if enough people
Specifically.
don't have a problem with it, we could just vote on it. I mean.
I think.
let's go in order.
I was
Go ahead.
gonna say, I would recommend taking a vote on its current status, because it did pass in committee, and then if it doesn't, maybe then we can have a fast follow to say, let's remove that and have a separate resolution in the future for telehealth to get this resolution passed, because we're
So if we
mostly.
fail to make
Here,
a
here.
motion to.
I have a question. Can we make, and I'm gonna ask my parliamentarian about
Right, that amendment, right.
Because.
So you don't know if you wanna amend it.
Conversations.
Whether it goes in.
But I don't think it's that clear cut, and so I
You're
think. there's-
talking at once, we can't hear you.
I think I would like to make a motion to amend
Right.
that telehealth is included, but that is limited to telehealth. And anything that.
Mental
To mental
Mental
health.
health. Telehealth is limited to
That's
mental health
fine.
and not anything that needs diagnostic analysis.
See, but I don't agree with that, so that's the problem.
So.
They didn't specify in the meeting that it wasn't one or the other. And so I think that we just vote on telehealth being the services, whatever services the hospital decides to provide a telehealth service, that it be the same price as in person. If they know, the doctors know, if you need to go to the hospital because you have a heart condition, they'll tell you. They won't give you a telehealth appointment.
They're advocating for the medical community, saying all doctors are parity, whether you're in person or telehealth, and that I don't agree with.
But I think it's important to remember that we're talking about Medicaid and Medicare payment. So a psychiatrist really doesn't make what Medicare is paying. They're accepting that. So to make it on parity so that it's Medicare, the amount that Medicare pays, it's still less than this guy's normally used to making.
But also the
Yes.
people that are doing the diagnosis on both telehealth and in person are the same doctors. And so you're essentially going to lead to people doctors saying, I'm not going to accept telehealth because I'm going to get less money. I'm only going to do the in person.
Right.
Whereas right now they're doing it.
And if he's a specialist, he's already making more than that, it's a problem.
All right, so I'll withdraw my motion to amend and just vote.
Can I call the question?
I second.
She just called after with the determination. Whether they.
He seconded. It was called and it was seconded, so let's assume it's a vote by affirmation, which.
No, we have another one. So anybody opposed to this?
One, sir, opposed.
Is it
Yeah, Eric, you oppose.
Joel Capel also?
Kay opposes.
Of course she would.
And Hernandez opposed. Are there any other in opposition? Are there any abstentions? You gotta say your name and the vote out loud.
Chang abstains.
Corey and Chang abstain.
I also have to abstain, I'm sorry, I just don't know.
Blank
well enough.
abstained.
Recusals?
Anybody online abstaining or recusing? Hold your horses. All right,
Do you go on?
I did. Nobody, Kay.
Okay, I got okay.
Yep, all right. I think that's good. I think you're good then, all right? Motion passes.
Okay.
All right, last one, and this is the roll call vote for the end of the night.
Mariama, do you want me to do it?
I can can do it.
Okay.
I think this one's easier than the last one.
Okay, I have another question before you do it. Zach, is it 86 or 89 Trinity? I thought it was 86. So this says 89 Trinity on the screen. That's okay because then
On the screen, yeah, it's 86.
It's 86 Trinity.
okay, the reso is correct.
One, representatives from Trinity Church, it was like the manager and their lawyer, came to discuss falling debris from an adjacent building, onto Trinity's premises, where there could be, at any given time, people, holding some sort of group activity, children playing, children learning something, just very, very bad. Also, with the potential for it to land in the street on Trinity's property, you know, hurting a pedestrian or something, really, really problematic. The developer, the contractor who's doing the work, at the last minute canceled, said that we gave them too short of a time to figure out if they could get somebody there, so they wanted it postponed. Trinity did not want to postpone. They wanted us to hear them. They had the resolution prepared. They brought it with them. We made very, very minor changes to some of the language, like adding the word important, I think it was, you know, very, very simple. And then we passed it.
I'd like to, first therefore resolve, flip the language, that Community Board 1 insists that the Department of Buildings, because they're the ones who can work with the owners, so flip the script, therefore be it resolved that we're asking Department of Buildings to ensure that the owner of 86 complies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But force it back to the Department of Buildings, because that's who we're yelling at.
Makes sense to me.
I also
Trinity did say that Department of Buildings has been working with them very well. They thought that it should be pointed on the building owners because buildings actually has been a very good partner.
We would
So
do
they
it for both though.
expect them to continue to be a good partner on this. So if there was a pointing, a directing of this resolution, it should be where the problem actually lies, and that's with the building owners.
You say you think the Department of Buildings would take offense if we use the word insist?
I don't think so.
If you're pointing them to do more,
they've been doing a lot.
We can thank
To
them and
fix the
appreciate for
building.
what they've done, but we need to insist, because we can't have the owner, we can tell the owners we want them to fix this and do it, but it's the agency that we have to, you know, say, hey, we know you've been doing something, but it's not enough.
We're also
I'm
going to
sorry,
try to get DOB and the owners of the defunct stock exchange and the church to come in next month and have an additional meeting, because the owners of the building have not been responsive to DDC either, and the building has set no work being done for at least 6 years, and so now the building is starting to deteriorate. Yeah, so the scaffolding, the DDC had to replace at their own expense, which means us taxpayers. They had to replace scaffolding in front of the building because of the building owners not being responsive to the scaffolding problems.
I just think that we need to include DOB as the responsible agency for this. And we can thank them for their work that they've done thus far, but.
I would accept it. I think it makes sense.
Richard understands race.
Richard?
I don't understand the purpose of this resolution at all. This is a safety issue that goes to the Department of Buildings that would take immediate action in any safety situation like this. I don't understand what our role would be and why they're even coming to us.
Well, we actually had that discussion, and Zach said that they don't really do enforcement.
Right.
They just continue to write violations.
Yeah, but you can.
Yeah, make them.
That's not true anymore after the parking lot collapsed.
They've done the violations, they've ordered the various levels of sidewalk protection. But buildings can't do the work for them, repair.
What is it that what are we doing here?
the only enforcement is what exists out there, and they're already on top of this issue. What is it that this resolution is
Where does it
intended
go?
to do?
Whose desk could it ever go to?
I'm sorry?
Whose desk could it land on?
Yeah.
And Trinity of all people have a lot more clout frankly than any of us, so I'm surprised they would go in this direction.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, it's nice, but to make us like
Well,
fight
guess
for them
what?
is
We're
weird.
gonna have to vote on this resolution
Yeah, let's do
because it's a roll call vote.
Let's do
We
it.
can, hold on a second, we can make it so it goes to the Department of Buildings, we can note DDC, and we can send it to our electeds and ask that, you know, whatever fines the city can put on a derelict
Yes.
landowner.
Yes,
can be
do
done.
it all.
We asked that, we asked that our elected officials get involved.
Yes, because otherwise it just makes no sense.
All right,
Yes.
hold on. Thank you, Susan. So we've got, again, the elected officials, DDC, and, you know, levy owner fines. Whatever mechanisms that the city has. Right, okay. So with that, does that sound right?
Yes.
Yes, that sounds good. I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Cool. Go ahead, cameras on. Starting with Almarusa. Yeah. Don't hear anything, blank?
Like, yes.
Brown Kennedy, Cameron,
Cameron, yes.
Chang,
Chang, yes.
Chapman,
Chapman, yes.
Charkoudian, Cole,
Cole, yes.
Barman,
yes.
Kucha,
Chia, yes.
Curtis,
Curtis, yes.
Flores,
yes.
Friedman,
yes.
Roman,
Yes.
Galloway,
yes.
Goldstein. Goodkind,
Good kind, yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
James,
James, yes.
Kay,
Okay, yes.
Nell,
Oh, yeah.
Capel, Lerner,
You're muted, Joe.
Muted. You're answering, but you're muted.
all right, Ryan, I heard it, Meltzer,
Yes.
Mansley,
yes.
Moore,
More yes.
Panya,
Please don't stop the chair. if we're done.
yes.
Porchacori,
Yes.
Rios,
Yes.
Robinson,
Robinson, yes.
Rossi, Scott, Sean Scott,
Scott, yes.
we got that. Vera, Song,
Yes.
Thompson, yes.
You skipped
You?
You skipped,
Yes.
you skipped me.
Who's that?
Star.
Yeah, because you got Star,
Yes.
all right, what time is it?
Sorry.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, calling it at 9:22. Thank you very much, everybody. Motion
Thank
to
you.
adjourn is accepted. Stay safe out there. Be very careful. We'll see you late next week.
Good night.
Or we'll see you at the next town hall.
99. Yeah, guys. Bye.